That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm,
Be articulate and intelligent.
Greg's a bitch. That's all.
I find them offensive as hell.
I've never been a fan.
Yeah, fuck that one.
Ooh, terrible! Bad! Not bad! Oh, pretty good. Okay, decent, fair, great, I loved it!
This sucks. Yeah, you really gotta wonder how this stuff, gets made.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card, where this man currently sits without access to ESPN for no fucking reason whatsoever.
It's because I'm sitting in a cornfield.
No, this man.
Oh, okay.
Why you're sitting in a cornfield, I have no fucking clue. That makes no sense. Absolutely zero sense.
I'm running out of locations.
There's just no jokes for that one. What are you, children of the corn? What the fuck's going on over there?
There's more than corn in Indiana.
Yeah. Did you post our horrific game?
Yeah. I was planning on getting a little snippet and showing it during today's show, but then I decided against it and just live life.
Oh, you're gonna rub it in. That's what you're gonna do.
Spoiler alert, Derek. The 30 people watching right now and people who come in later will know exactly what happens.
So Brett and I played a little FIFA 2024, and it was my first time playing it. I think it was your first time playing it too, right?
I did a little bit. I did a couple of the training sessions beforehand, but yes.
Anyhow, I got my ass kicked 3-0. It shouldn't have started that way, but anyhow, I did lose. I don't.
You were getting a little cocky in that first half before I got the goal.
Yeah, I was feeling really good about the first half, but then it went on too long. It kept going on and on and on.
I purposely made the game long so that your arthritis, because you're old, going, ouch!
My hands were cramping up and shit. And the players, they don't move smoothly, they really don't.
It's a little choppy. It's not the best version, but whatever.
Well,
I'm just happy to be here.
And the players on the field are so tiny.
Yeah.
Too. I don't remember ever playing a game where they were that small. So the turn in the background says, "Welcome to the Straight Red Card. We are a week away from Christmas, and I want under the tree is a faithful wife and a plaster mold of Craig's dick balls and taint." It's pretty gross.
I want to know who the mold is for.
Her.
Probably.
But if it's more like you and Evie do, it could be a pegging situation.
Could be. You never know.
By the way, do you see the Senate sex tape yet?
Yes. I showed that to I didn't show it.
I hope not.
I showed the everything that was on Twitter. The just the graphic, but there's a smiley face right there. Type of pictures to everybody on Saturday. Got a little group outing. I'm like, hey, you see the Senate sex tape? And they're like, what?
To who? Your friends?
Friends.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
like, oh my god. I'm like, if I had to see it, you got to see it.
Well, you don't really get to see it. It's kind of blurred out, thankfully.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know what that guy's thinking.
Ugh.
He's not. I mean.
Oh, he's already gone. He's no longer there, and he's like,
yeah, I know.
I have regrets.
He said he made a bad decision.
Yeah,
you don't think he got all dressed up for that?
Shouldn't have recorded it.
Wore assless chaps and shit. Was completely nude, getting hammered in the ass after a Senate hearing. I mean, what? That's more than a bad decision. That's something you plan to do. So, I mean, you can't tell me he just did that on a whim. Hey, you know what? I got all dressed up. We're here. You want to hammer me in the ass right here in the Senate hearing meeting? Yeah, I don't think
Department of Relationship Propaganda had this up before we started talking about it. I'm actually kind of surprised.
Brett, you decided not to broadcast from the Senate chamber tonight.
Lefties won the comment so far.
If you build it, they will CUM come. All right. Yeah, I mean, listen, you can fuck anywhere. It's just that's your job. That was the guy's job, his livelihood, right? You know, he worked for the Senate or someone in the Senate.
He was just an aide. I mean, how much do they really get paid? That's like it's like you're volunteering your time at that point.
You're not really volunteering. What you
an internship where you don't get paid
as an aide. There are a lot of people who go to be aides who have political aspirations, right? So this is a way for them to learn. Okay. And they later get into politics. Well, I think he pretty much just ruined any political career he might have. And I doubt he's not going to be. I mean, that's really bad, poor decision making. So, I mean, no one's going to hire you after that. And then his name is public, and he made a public apology in his own name. So it's not like his name's not out there.
What if his overall plan was to get into the gay porn industry?
Well, then he should have contacted somebody in wherever that city in California. I know people would think, oh, San Francisco. I don't think I think all the porn is made in like one city in California, of which name I cannot remember. And that includes the gay porn too. I could be wrong. I don't know very much about gay porn. In fact, I know very little about it. Didn't even have to say that.
Like 10% of your porn experience, right?
Just a little over 4%.
Statistically, you are correct, sir.
4.7. Usually on accident. All right. Jose Reyes for $10. Thank you, brother. Happy holidays, friends. Here's hoping we start a new year off right for the U.S. men's national team. I pray blessings for all our viewers and YouTube. Thank you, Jose. I will see you in the new year as I leave on holiday tomorrow. Oh, have a great time. Have a great time. Are you going anywhere in particular? Maybe back home to family in Puerto Rico, maybe, because that is the Puerto Rican flag. I don't know. Let us know. Here's the saying I only learned when I moved to Indiana. It's really cold out right now, right? It's like 26 degrees outside.
Yeah. It got cold real quick, man. It was like not bad until the rain showed up on Saturday.
I had never heard the expression, it's colder than a witch's titty.
You've heard that before. Bullshit.
Not until I moved to Indiana. I had not.
I guess it's more Midwest because my dad says it all the time. He's Michigan.
All right. I'd never heard it until moving to Indiana. I was like, colder than a witch's titty. That's interesting. I'd never really.
That's one of the first phrases I said as a kid.
Well, listen, I lived all over the world. Nobody else says colder than a witch's titty. That is an Indiana thing.
Once again, Jose, thanks for the 10. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Hope you have a good time on holiday. We'll see you in the New Year's. Alex says he's heard it in Connecticut.
Well, there you go. I guess it's all over. I just never been exposed to it.
BMR says only white people say that.
Well, that's the other problem. See, I never really hung out with white people until now.
You're welcome. You're welcome. This is it's a saying in UK too.
No shit. It's coated in a witch's titty. It's not even that cold in England comparatively. I mean, it rarely.
They'll bitch about it, man. They'll bitch about it all over across Europe when it comes to wintertime. Like, oh my god, it's fucking freezing out here, and like, it's like swimsuit weather, man.
It's like nowhere in the UK does it get as cold as it gets in fucking Chicago during the winter. Like, that's colder than a witch's titty. And why is the witch's titty so cold anyhow? That I never really figured out. Is this a Wizard of Oz thing I didn't understand, or a reference?
Well, I mean, I guess I don't know all of the witch lore, if you will. I did read the Golden Compass series, or the His Dark Materials series, and they do talk about how the witches in that series are immune to cold
because they're cold.
They're up in the Arctic, and they're like, flying around in their little broomsticks or the little pine branches or whatever the fuck they're doing. And
broomsticks, probably.
No, I think they're pine branches. I think.
Okay.
Kind of legit like broomstick, but no.
All right. Well, It's odd. I mean, are all her private parts cold?
Maybe, probably. I imagine if it's a UK term, it'd be colder than a witch's cunt or something like that.
Yeah, maybe colder than a witch's asshole. I don't know. All right. That was an odd thing. I just thought I'd get it out because I thought it today when I went outside. I thought about it and I said, why did that just come in my head? And
it's a bit nipply outside. I mean, nippy.
Nippy, yeah.
So,
Chris Gary says, well, would a witch have a hot titty? I just think they'd be normal room temperature titties. I don't know.
well, in Salem, witches' titties are hot.
Well, no, they're all dead. They killed all their witches.
Mm.
Anyhow, that was a long time ago.
I think they faked their deaths in the fire.
Oh, by the way, yeah, right. I'm drinking a new beer tonight. This is another Taxman, and I'd never seen it, so I had to pick it up.
I don't think I've had that one. Yeah,
it's called Tax Holiday. It's a Belgian-style dark ale with buckwheat honey. Buckwheat honey. 10% alcohol by volume. Let's crack it open and see if it's distinctly potable. Hey, this one didn't splash all over me. That's good.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
Tom says colder than a well digger's ass.
Colder than a well digger's ass. Whew, I don't know if you said that really fast, you might get beat up. You got to say that slow because it sounds racist.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with it, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Whoa. I get the wheat. That's for sure.
The wheat.
I get the buckwheat. I get the honey. Okay. I'd stick with the other one I was drinking with the maple barrels. This one's, it's fine. Unfortunately, I got 3 more of these, right? So
yeah,
I'll have to nurse them down. It's okay. It's a little weird. That's all I got to say. I would not call that distinctly potable. I would call that
it's a potent potable.
Distinctly odd is what it tastes like. Other things. Let's see. Hey, new drink.
How about Jose?
Jose's back.
There you go.
Let us not say this podcast isn't diverse. We went from pee-pee jokes to titty jokes. All are welcome. Yes, all are welcome for sure. Also,
we do not discriminate.
We discussed anal sex in the Senate as well. Don't forget that. Dr. Pepper. Diet Doc. No, it's not Diet Dr. Pepper. It's Dr. Pepper 1, right?
10.
No, the sugar-free one.
Oh.
Dr. Pepper.
All I know from they have Diet Dr. Pepper, they have Dr. Pepper 10, and they have Dr. Pepper. I don't know if they have a Dr. Pepper 1.
I thought they had a 1. I don't know.
They might.
Have to go look in my fridge.
You start stocking Dr. Pepper 1 if they got that shit, because I'll do that over the Diet Dr. Pepper, which I do drink.
Anyhow, I was having a new drink last night. I did not prepare one today, but it's Dr. Pepper vodka, 1/3 vodka, 2/3 Dr. Pepper, and then a nice little drizzling of grenadine. Ice, stir, serve. Very good. I don't know what it's called, but I looked it up and somebody had a recipe because I bought Dr. Pepper. I'm like, I wonder if there's some drinks out there. And of course, I have a shelf full of stuff to make drinks that I never use, so might as well use them, right? I had grenadine in there, so I'm like, fuck it, I'll go grab it. It's very tasty. I would describe that as distinctly potable. Clam Pack FC. Is that a real team?
Of course it is. There's an FC. Of course it's free. Or a real team, not free. It might be free. You don't know. You don't know, Derek.
It's a free club. Come on. $9.99. Thank you, brother. Thank you, or sister. I don't know. Thank you in advance for the ass railing you are about to give MLS and USSF. Yes, that's coming. That's what she said. All right. Do you want to cover the that PornHub article in the New York Post? And
sure.
Neither of us had a chance to look at it, but I knew that this article existed, and it is the #1 search terms by state.
Hold up.
For PornHub for 2023. First
by
of all,
state? I just thought it was overall.
No, by state.
God, I can't wait to see what Indiana has.
I don't remember. I did look at it, like glance at it, but I didn't look it over because I wanted to be surprised myself.
Just so you guys know, the cornfield is not any indication of what Indiana's most well searched.
I don't know. Cornhole? You don't know.
Could be. Well, that'll be nice. Let's see.
Well, they took out all the dirty words because there is no way
lame
that some of these terms are the most searched terms. I would say bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on this. I think they took out the dirty ones like cocksucker or deep throat. Like none of those are on there. And seriously, you scroll down. It's down there. I'm actually drinking a DP strawberry and cream, a double penetrated strawberries and cream. Right. Love that DP.
A Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream.
You can scroll down on the articles.
I will. We're talking about the Dr. Pepper still, kind of.
Oh, we are?
There's already like 29 flavors in Dr. Pepper. Can you really add cream and strawberries to it?
23. They do.
23?
Yeah. And you can go to like Wendy's and you can get Dr. Pepper, and then they have the different mixtures you can add to it, including one of them being the strawberries and cream. And then they've got like Ornsicle and all that shit.
No shit.
Wow, that is so small. But look at that.
Hold up.
Look at people in the United States clearly dominate PornHub activity. Not surprising. But look who's in second. The Philippines. What is going on over in the Philippines that they are second?
What is this? Show no, just top 20 by traffic. Let's see, ranking changed. Yeah, let's see, top 20 countries. Okay, I was trying to find out how they calculate is it just the overall number of people that are on there, or are they going by percentage to population?
Yeah, I doubt it's percentage by population. I just think this is the number of people going there.
I mean, I feel like the United States would still be that high.
I mean, yeah, we're like the next
USA.
The next
USA.
We're like the next 3 countries combined, or 4.
1, 2, 3,
right?
4, 5. Hey, we got the 5th place team in here.
Hey, we are Leeds. Welcome back, brother. You guys are doing all right, except for just recently. I hear
Mexico and France and the Philippines are beating you here, though.
I hear that, by the way, Leeds, while you're here, I do hear that Brendan Aronson's not going to be kept by Union Berlin.
We talked about that a couple shows ago. There's rumors about that. Yeah,
I don't remember talking about it.
Oh yeah, it was one of the transfer rumors recently
that he's going back to Leeds. They're not going to keep him past winter.
The Union weren't going to keep him, and I don't know if they specified past winter.
No, I'm talking about the rumors I'm hearing now. Are Union Berlin do not want to keep him for the full loan. They're sending him back in the winter. Like, we don't need him. He's not helpful. You can have him back. And that means, hey, you'll get Aronson back to follow all over your field again for you. I don't know if he'll play. I mean, why ruin the chemistry, right? Things are going pretty well, unless you really think Aronson's can help you. So anyhow, that's something to consider. The only Muslim country on this list, by the way, is Egypt.
Yeah.
So I thought in many of those nations there was like a ban on certain. So I guess not in Egypt. In Egypt,
maybe one of them. Yeah. I mean, let's see. Hold on. There was one in there, isn't there?
Egypt.
No, I could have swore there's.
No, that's
one, right. Is that the Philippines?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're Catholic predominantly.
Yeah. I was just taking a look to see if there's any, this range in here, but I didn't see it. That's why I jumped to this immediately.
No, there aren't. And yeah, so Egypt being the only one. So
I'm kind of surprised that Japan's that low. Come on, guys. Like,
they might have their own channels.
That's true. I mean, half their population doesn't have sex, so they just you imagine that the porn sites would be rampant.
Well, and they have a lot of peculiar interest areas like anime and young girl anime and things like that are
trains and rails and stuff like that.
The young girl anime seems to be pretty big there, which it's definitely illegal here in the United States. I don't think
that's all stuff you can still watch here in the States.
But it's legal in Japan. You can watch young
It's
girl
not
anime.
illegal. It's not illegal in the United States either. It's fucking creepy as shit, and you shouldn't.
What? Okay, well, this is news to me because as far as I understand our laws, depicting even in
what is it? Lolly porn? Is that what it's fucking called?
I have no clue.
There is hentai there too. Yeah, he puts hentai.
Hentai.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was.
Yes, there's lolly. It's lolly too. I mean,
and that's legal in the United States. I did not know that.
as long as they don't necessarily indicate age, I guess, whatever. But it's fucking gross and shit.
Huh.
What the fuck's the matter with you people?
All right.
How is that a thing?
Well, whatever
There
gets
you go.
you through the night.
Judgmental is got the definition down here. Lolly is a specific genre of hentai.
Okay, I know they have regular because that is legal. I thought in the United States.
Lots of tentacle stuff too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that'll pop up on the feed every once in a while. Like I'm not going to watch a cartoon, please. All right.
Well, what if it's like Marge Simpson and I don't know.
I
Fred Flintstone. Would you watch that?
It doesn't make any sense to me. No, I wouldn't.
Those are consenting adults in cartoon form.
Yeah, that's fine. But what if it was Bart and Lisa? Then you got an issue, right?
That's creepy as weird. Yeah, but what if it's adult Bart and Lisa though?
I don't know. I mean, I guess that becomes okay. But when do they become adults? When they hit 18?
All right.
And how are we going to depict that?
Whoa. Jesus Christ.
And a little Angela White action there.
Hey-o.
All right, there we go. If we can blow this up a
Indiana's
little.
chubby? What the fuck?
Yeah, that's why I don't believe any. I don't believe
the
these.
Fuck?
I didn't even associate. I just read the names. I didn't read the states necessarily. I'm like, most of these are bullshit. Like it's
name a state. We'll go over it. Come on.
Well, blow it up a little, can you?
This
is as big as it gets. That's what she said.
Hey, let me see if
there we go.
Everything's crazy here.
Okay, can you explain Texas to me? Creamy, really? You're looking up the word creamy, and in fucking Utah, they're looking up Mormon.
I'm sorry, I can understand creamy before chubby.
Chubby. Some people have that chubby.
An entire fucking state, though. I don't know.
It's shocking as the biggest keyword.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's not as dumb as Mormon in Utah. You are Mormon. What are you looking up the word Mormon for? Just go fuck your wife.
This is base Louisiana.
What did they pick?
Big black dick.
Yeah, well.
Oh my goodness.
I guess that one's more realistic though, if you're into that kind of
stuff. Look at California though, man.
Look at Iowa. Look at Iowa. Cartoon porn. There we go. We were just talking about that.
Midwest fucks.
And those sickos in Oregon like nudists. And that
like
means
North Carolina. North Carolina's got bubble butt.
Bubble butt. You gotta be kidding me.
God.
Bouncing boobs in Kentucky.
So I wonder why Chris Gary said the double vagina, because that's what Connecticut is.
Double vagina?
Yeah, it's two peen, one vajay.
Double vagina. Okay. That's just weird. Asian stepmom.
Michigan is bondage.
California.
Montana's BDSM, huh? Dildo ride is Idaho.
Look at the news.
How's Goth, Wyoming? I mean, for max search in Wyoming and Montana, that must be like one or two people, right? That's running all the traffic.
I'm surprised those jerk-offs don't have Senator Cheney in there for Wyoming. Let's see. We got the Nevada people look up the word Vegas for why? Why would you look that up in PornHub? You're going nowhere fast. And then do you really go to PornHub and type in nudist? Nudist.
Dude, Hawaii's search is Hawaiian? Wow, that's on the nose. Come on, guys.
Some of this is just bullshit. There's no way.
A little more creative than that. I mean, it'd be like us going on and searching Hoosiers. I mean, do we really want to look at that?
Well, apparently, Utah's fine with Mormon. Why you would go on a fucking porn site and type in Mormon, I have no idea. Anyhow, we thought we'd share this. Whatever your state is.
Erling has a great one. What is body swap?
What state is that?
I saw it earlier. Oh, jeez.
Body swap.
Oh, New York. New York has body swap.
What the fuck does that mean? It's like killing people or something? And then replacing them with somebody else? I don't know what the fuck that would mean.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I'm not buying that one either, because we've never even heard of it. As long as
those corn-fed Hoosiers, you know.
Chubby is weird. I didn't know there were that many people. I mean, why would you have a fixation with chubby? Because everyone's chubby now. Have you looked at the kids these days?
Yeah.
There's no need to have a fantasy about it. Just go fuck someone for real. You got it right there in front of you. Go fuck it.
Yeah. Lefty says it's some face-off shit. That's what body, whatever it was.
I don't know. That's weird.
New Mexico has Native American. Again, just like Hawaii, this is kind of on the nose.
Yeah, I mean, Native American, what do you got? Like, have the thousands and thousands of videos on PornHub. There might be, 3 videos of Native Americans in there?
Wait a second. Hold on. Look at Mississippi. They got furry.
That's just, no, I don't
believe it. And then Alabama is fucking myself?
I don't believe any of this. How many people go to PornHub and put fucking myself? You want to fuck yourself? Just lube up the palm and get to work. Jesus. All right.
That is so lame with tickling. What the hell's wrong with them?
Anyhow, I've had enough of this list. It pisses me off because this is not real. There's no way those are terms that people put in. And not in an abundance of a number.
That was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. Because the title indicated grandma, and I didn't see a single grandma on there.
That's good.
That should have been Florida. Wouldn't that have been Florida's? Imagine.
Again, they already live in that reality. So why would that be a fantasy?
You're right.
You know, it's like, again, Utah and Mormons. They're all over. They're surrounding you every day. Just go fuck one of them. You don't need to put it into PornHub. It's not a fantasy. Oh, my goodness. You're living in the reality. All right, let's get to soccer.
Oh, that was fun.
Do you want to start with that?
Here we go. That was interesting. I agree.
We try to share an interesting list every year as we close out the year. I think last year we did 2023's things that got stuck up people's butts. You might remember that. We did it in December as well. This year we did PornHub. But we might go back to the butts thing. I mean, because every year...
This year's butt one was the candy cane, wasn't it?
No, we did. Last year we did 2022's.
Yeah.
Things people got stuck in their butt and had to go to the hospital to have removed. And it was like the top 30 items, right? And it's always the same items every year, or relatively the same. And it's always the same excuse. I slipped in the bathroom and fell on it. And it somehow jammed massively way up my asshole. Yeah, right. Okay. Chris Gary. Here's something. What are the 5 worst U.S. men's national team transfers in the last, let's say, 5 years? I guess a way to measure it is transfer fee, playing time, and time spent with the club. 5 worst? I mean, you got to put anywhere Conrad's gone so far up there with one of the 5 worst, right?
Well, those have all been loans. So, I mean, those aren't the worst transfers. I don't know. Here we go. Here we got a couple in the chat. Let's see. We got Pepe to Augsburg.
That never even got a chance to get bad.
Well, I mean, it got bad because he didn't play, but he did play a little bit
at the beginning.
Those minutes definitely didn't help. He didn't help himself. I think the loan out was definitely a benefit, and where he's at now is a good place. So
he demanded that loan out.
Yeah, he needed it too.
To Groningen, and that did work out because now he's playing obviously at PSV, and they're doing great.
Jonathan Miller says Pulisic to Chelsea. Now, this is interesting because we have a lot of negativity towards Chelsea, but I mean, he did good things there.
It didn't start off bad at all.
He won a Champions League. He, had pretty consistent goals per 90 minutes.
It just
throughout his entire career.
It started to go really bad when Tuchel got there, and then it was all downhill after that. Yeah. Hoppy to Mallorca has to be up there for sure. Although Hoppy to Middlesbrough is pretty bad too. So Weston to Leeds, that was a loan, but yeah, that didn't work out real well either. Not so much for Weston, but for Leeds.
I like it. Brian just says Aronson.
Wherever Aronson is gone after Salzburg,
it's Aronson, right?
It's been a disaster. Yeah.
What about Yuli to Wolfsburg?
He's still there, so yeah. And he's never touched the fucking grass, a blade of grass on the first team's pitch.
He was loaned out, wasn't he? He had St. Pauli's or whatnot?
No, he went to St. Pölten in Austria.
Yeah.
Played now and then. He played enough. But it's one of the worst teams in Austria. Then he, I believe he did that 2 seasons in a row. And for whatever reason, he's back in Wolfsburg. And he's just been...
He's just writing
his time.
The roster, huh? Not even the Pine, just roster.
No, he's not making any 18s.
Exactly, yeah.
But I haven't seen him on the 2 team either. So I haven't seen him listed there.
Why don't they actively look to loan a player like that to MLS? Hey, why don't you go play a season in MLS,
Dude,
see if you can produce something.
If you can't go to Austria and kick ass, which is outside of the top 2 teams, worse league than MLS, and you go there and you are not either the best player on your team or one of the best players in the league, then MLS might be above your head as well.
Yeah.
Let's just say that. Where is Hoppy? I forgot about that guy. Hoppy is
back at
Middlesbrough. Not right now. He's on vacation, I'm sure, in California with his parents.
I feel like he spent enough time at California. He should have gone back to Middlesbrough by now.
He might have. I could ask. I don't really think he's going to do anything in Middlesbrough when he goes back there, except sit in an apartment.
Hey, you know what? He had a relatively okayish loan to San Jose, and he might have a bit of confidence going back to Borough.
I don't know if it's confidence that he's lacking. He never seemed to be the kind of kid that was lacking confidence.
Well, I mean, as a striker, when you're not playing and you're not scoring goals, because he wasn't even scoring goals in Scotland when he got to play a little bit of time.
Exactly. So,
but I mean, it gets in your head. You get the yips.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Didn't seem like he had the yips at San Jose once he got to play. I think there's other problems there. Horvath to basically wherever Horvath's been.
Well, it's a shame. I mean, hell, the former sporting director, I think it was, of Luton, was surprised that Luton didn't act to keep him, even on loan, when they got promoted.
Up to the coach. They wanted.
Sure, that's fair.
They were going to the Premier League, and they thought they needed someone better. And
I hate to say it. I mean, not saying that Horvath's a particularly perfect goalkeeper by any means, but I feel like you probably have bigger holes in your team to worry about when you go to the EPL than Horvath at goalkeeper.
They didn't have the money to address a lot of those. So, yeah, they bought just, I think, 2 or 3 players. Not much.
Sure up the center back, get another midfielder, and then hope to God you can just tread water at that point. Because you're not going to be having a ton of goal-scoring opportunities.
It depends also on how the manager wanted to play. Because you're not playing out of the back with Horvath, right? He's not going to be a sweeper keeper for you. Mihailovic. Man, that's on Mihailovic.
100%, I agree. And that's kind of my thought process with the Conrad, too. Because it's not that he's lacking in talent by any means. There's got to be a mental issue there that's preventing him from playing everywhere he goes to.
Mm-hmm.
He has talent. He should be able to find playing time somewhere in Europe.
Guess what he did this weekend?
Rode Pine?
You got it. He rode Pine. 490. Guess what Mihailovic did this weekend?
36.
36 minutes and got yanked with 2 other guys.
I heard that he wasn't the problem for Isaiah.
Certainly was not the solution. He does what he always does, Brett. He floats around the field and is not really engaged anywhere. He doesn't show for the ball on offense, and he's not really that helpful on defense. So what are you going to do? You get yanked at fucking 36 minutes by a pissed as fucking hell off coach who was obviously angry. And because they were getting their ass kicked by PSV, just handed to them. So, yeah, he had to make a change.
I know Isaiah's up there and everything, top 5 range or whatever they're at.
Yeah,
so they're playing a PSV side that is literally on fire. And I say literally in a non-ironic.
They're literally on fire.
Literally on fire, guys.
Oh, yeah? Did you set them on flame? All right.
Come stop me now.
Chris Carey says Brooks to Benfica. That was not a good move. I agree. Mueller to Hibernian. It started off all right for Mueller, and then quickly crashed.
I think that was about the peak that Mueller was going to have anywhere in Europe. So,
yeah, and yet he was a stock, an MLS guy who regularly contributed wherever he went.
Sure.
Again, BMR, that's another one where that's on Otis Sally. We will never know because he didn't give a fuck. He didn't care.
Well, I mean, Bruges has not been a great place for U.S. players. Horvath, Road Pine.
Yeah, but different situation.
Pine.
Horvath rides Pine because he doesn't demand to be looked at. And Otis Sally just thought he'd up and leave the club out of nowhere and go back to England and not tell the club. Like, that's a bad thing to do. So, Chris Gary, Dest to AC Milan. Yeah, it wasn't good, but Dest to Barcelona wasn't good either.
I was gonna say, I mean, I know he got more playing time at Barcelona, obviously, than he did at AC Milan.
They're longer.
There's some good games, some not so good games, and then a lot of bench games. But I feel like the jump going from going from Ajax to Barcelona definitely didn't help in that situation.
Let me tell you what kind of player Dest is.
You can sure go for it, man.
If he doesn't play, he is unincorrigible. He's I don't know what the word I'm looking for. He's a pain in the ass. How's that?
He's making TikToks.
Because, that's not why he's a pain in the ass. He's a pain in the ass because he has a bad attitude. He has an extremely bad attitude if he is not seen as a regular competing starter for a spot. And then, you're going to see a bad attitude from him. So that's why things are going so good at PSV. He's got nothing to bitch about. He's got nothing to complain about. He's considered the everyday starter for that team. So you're not going to see bad attitude Dest. Although, starts every game for us.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a bad attitude. Maybe he was just having a bad day because we usually don't see, although we have seen him grab a throat once too. That was stupid. So, I mean, it can come out of him. All you got to do is poke the bear a little, and bad attitude, Dest will come out. So,
it's corrected later, but what about Timmy to LAFC?
I don't know why that would be bad. Because
would it have been better for him to remain at Firth?
No, because he'd be playing in 2 Bundesliga, and he has actually, unbelievably, with Berhalter in control, he has a lot better chance of getting an eyeball on him than he does of playing at Greuther Firth in 2 Bundesliga. Just ask Terrence Boyd.
We've had 2 Serie B players called in.
Right, but no
3 Serie B players actually called in before any Bundesliga 2 team apparently.
If Leonard Maloney were still in 2 Bundesliga, do you think he would have been called up? Hell no. Because Berhalter does not value 2 Bundesliga as much as he values Serie B, which is really weird.
Well, and here's the thing, though. I can understand why Testament and Busio are getting calls up from time to time because they have a history with Berhalter and through the youth during that time period. So, of course, he's going to keep an eye on him. He already knows the players at that point. Lund just went to Serie B after filing that one-time switch, and we're hurting on left back. So I can understand why that instead of looking at another midfield option. Midfield options.
Back to Timothy Tillman, though. I mean, did you see him in the playoffs?
No, I didn't watch him.
I don't think Timothy Tillman. I thought Tillman went to LAFC.
He did. I said it was corrected later on, but that's why I corrected it for him.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's at LA. If you watch the actual final, MLS final, he looked way out of his elements. He looked over his head. So, I mean, I don't know. Is that the Timothy Tillman that are we saying Timothy Tillman who's the older brother between he and Malik, is just as good as Malik? Because so far I don't see the evidence. Told you all Berhalter had a Bundesliga agenda. Well, you mean a 2 Bundesliga agenda? I don't.
I mean, he didn't call in Brooks for ever for a while.
Well, that's a Brooks agenda.
I'm sure he would love to sweep Reyna under the carpet if he had the opportunity to. I'm sure they're over that.
He's over it. He needs to be over it, and he knows it.
He is.
So.
But that's a weird thing, though. Like that Berhalter actually played in Bundesliga, right? or was it Bundesliga 2? Where did he play in Europe? Where did he play in Europe?
He played in Holland. He did play in Germany, but I thought it was in a lower division. Holland, he played first division. I'm trying to remember which team. Anyhow,
he played for Sparta and
Sparta Rotterdam.
That's Dutch right there. It's Crystal Palace. 1860 Munich.
Yeah, I think they were in 2 Bundesliga at the time.
Then he should have a soft spot for 2 Bundesliga, I would imagine.
And he doesn't seem to have a soft spot for that whole thing. I don't think that he's a soft spot kind of guy, unless it's MLS guys for a long time. The thing is, he got broke out of those guys. Once Hudson and BJ started calling up the rosters, they were calling up and bringing those guys in, like Tillman, etc. He had to leave those MLS guys behind. But you never know. We might see Zimmerman again.
BMR says Berhalter streaming services gets him Serie B, but not Bundesliga 2.
Yeah.
He's got Paramount. He's got Paramount Plus, but he does not have ESPN Plus.
But neither of them play many games from those 2 leagues.
Yeah.
So that's why I've only been able to watch 2 Venezia games this season.
Something like that,
yeah. So there you go.
So the mainstream media has been active. And I say mainstream media, I'm only talking about one person here.
Okay.
But it's been active talking to Tech and talking down to Tech a bit.
Lawless talking shit again?
Not Lawless. Not Lawless.
Man, Alexi said he had no soul. Remember that? Said Tech had no soul. Wow.
Ironic coming from a redhead, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Dave Denholm.
So, real quick, Tech says nothing against Chris Donovan, but why the heck is Romano reporting on a contract renewal for Philly Union backup? I'm not even sure that Union fans care. And so you hear that. What do you take by that? Do you think he's being sour? Do you think he's being a little bit of a bitch? Or do you think he's just saying, like, why the fuck is he reporting to him?
Yeah, I mean, Fabrizio usually tracks the bigger names and the bigger players. I might be wrong.
I mean, is he gonna track all of the backups that get re-signed to all the MLS teams, or is this just a random one out? It's a slow news day.
Maybe he has a special connection to Chris Donovan we don't know about. I don't know. Seems a little weird because, as you say, there are going to be all kinds of these little tiny signings all over MLS.
I read this and I saw text saying, like, why is he doing that? Who gives a fuck? Basically,
yeah,
is the
that's
way
basically what he's saying.
So Dave says, let
me be Dave.
You can be Dave.
All right, here we go. This is what Dave sounds like. So now you are mad. One, the most popular reporters in the sport. So now you are mad. He can't fucking write. Dude's a writer and he can't write.
He does talk soccer and he's covering LAFC.
No wonder he talks it. All right. So now you are mad when the most popular reporters in the sports covers MLS. You know, the league that has Leo Messi. Oh my God, you got to be fucking shitting me. He did not pull that out and use that. You got to be kidding me. I mean this seriously. Turn up the computer and go get some fresh air, fellas. All you on this thread. No, go take a quick walk outside. That's how he was writing it. What a crybaby, dude. Wow. What a crybaby.
Well, and yeah, I mean, it's just, again, it's clear that Tech isn't being super serious by saying this. He's just saying, why is he reporting on this? He's got an entire world that he reports on. He's got news all throughout Europe. He covers some MLS. Is he going to cover all of these, backups?
He's going to be writing a lot of tweets. Sure. If that's what he's going to do, because there's all kinds of Chris Donovans all over MLS.
Yeah.
Tiny signings. Guys who don't start getting re-signed.
Exactly.
And so that's a lot of tweets.
My response was basically in this tweet you have a "you mad bro" and "touch grass" in one response. Was this pulled out of a time capsule from 2020? Usually we wait a little longer, a couple of years before we start cracking them open.
Yeah, he's not going to get any of that.
You mad, bro?
You mad, bro?
You mad, bro?
I don't know. Who
Go
did.
outside and touch grass, man. So I actually followed that up with saying, "Hey, Tact, I hope you're not allergic to grass." He said he is a little bit. So
Is he?
It's a little close to home. I'm sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right.
I don't know if you could tell by the photo here, but here's what he looks like. He's got a black beanie on.
Hey,
and
he's ruining beanies for all.
I've actually got another photo of him here real quick. Let me pull it up here.
Okay. Oh yeah. Hold up now, man. That's me, baby. That's me doing the job.
I don't know. I think we found your day job, Derek.
Dude, my nose ain't anywhere near that pointy. Not even close. And plus, he's got blue eyes, and I do not have blue eyes.
You can wear contacts.
Nah, I'm way sexier. Way sexier.
I mean, check out those moves.
The moves are sexy too.
Sexy.
Goes along with the
knows
rest of the little gut, but hey, working it off there. See that?
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Spencer Dirty for 1069. Pretty pathetic coming from Pro Media. Not surprised though. Yeah, I'm surprised you'd even waste your time with that. Like seriously, you're gonna spend your time defending some snide remark about, hey, it's kind of weird that you're covering that. That's all he said, basically. Did he say it in his usual snide way? Of course, he's tact. That's how we
Twitter. That's
how we rock it.
That's
all right,
you do.
That's how we rock it here too. Or at least I do. All right. So, thank you, Spencer. We love you.
1069, man. Appreciate that.
Oh, we're already getting to the Open Cup, huh? Spencer says, how would regional Open Cup style tournaments work in the U.S.? What would be some good regional boundaries to set for some cups? Example, Florida, Tampa, Miami, Jacksonville, Orlando, Texas, San Antonio, Austin, El Paso, etc. Yeah, I think that's a fine way to do it. You could definitely do it that way if you wanted to. And don't they kind of already sort of do that?
I was gonna say they sort of kind of do that because Chicago always plays from St. Louis to Michigan range,
right?
That area, that vicinity, Indiana, Ohio. So it's kind of already regionalized at the lower levels. It's just once you start winning games, at that point it becomes less regionalized. But I felt this was a great comment. Spencer pulled it up in our comment section for the show tonight. So I figured I'd pull it up, and that would just be a great way to jump into the Open Cup topic.
You mean a segue?
Well, I like jumping in.
Segue.
It's the same thing.
Okay,
I don't own a Segway, Derek.
I know they're fucking synonyms, Brett, for Christ's sake. All right. Jumping into it. Yeah, so as you guys all know, MLS ditched the US Open Cup, which
no, they haven't ditched US Open Cup. They're just only playing their U23s or
yes,
MLS Next Pro.
Fuck
Derek.
you, Brett. That's ditching it, dude. That's ditching it. You're gonna play your little children against the USL guys.
Whoa, Derek, we've been bitching for months now that US or MLS got rid of being their reserve team being in USL, and now they're playing their reserve team against USL.
And most of them will last for one game.
We shouldn't complain about this, Derek.
Most of them will last for one game. They'll get one game of experience. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, them ditching. Well, here's the thing. And this is what I said in a tweet. Don Garber has served 13 terms on the USSF board, U.S. Soccer's board. You would think there would be people on the board and in the leadership of U.S. Soccer who'd say, hey, man, you do that, we'll fuck you. We'll figure out a way to fuck you over, too. I don't care if you're on the board. We'll fuck you over. We'll find a way to fuck you over. And if that means requiring them to do pro rel or whatever, or calling up FIFA, hey, can you apply some pressure on us to do promotion and relegation so we can force MLS to stay in the U.S. Open Cup? You know, the Lamar Hunt Trophy, some of the most
100 plus years of existence,
important tournaments over the 100 years. So, but no, they didn't. It just shows how much power that Don Garber has at U.S. Soccer.
We bitch about the lack of history. Like, for the most part, the people who bitch about MLS bitch about the lack of history, and it just all feels orchestrated and fake. And now we're talking about bowing out of a competition that literally has history.
Right. Just because they couldn't make a buck out of it.
That's exactly the issue, isn't it?
Right.
Because that last U.S. Open Cup, Garber went on a bitching spree talking about how horrible U.S. Open Cup is for MLS. But he was on the board for U.S. Soccer, which houses the U.S. Open Cup.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Then do something about it, dick face.
Oh, he did. He did something.
He's
like, hey, I'm taking my ball and I'm going home, bitches. That's what he said.
He said, peace out. I'm out of here. And they said, okay, Don, whatever you want, Don. You're the best, Don. Don, hey, man, we love your cock. It's gigantic. Have a great day. We'll just suck it up here. All right? Let's suck it up. Oh, you're going to give us your MLS Next Pro, guys. Don, thank you, Don. Oh, my God, Don, you are the bravest. You are so hot, Don. I love your ears. I want to fuck your ear, Don. That's how hot your ears are. Real ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
According to the Federation, the MLS Next Pro teeny bopper teams are the same organization as the MLS. That is a suck up to Don. And you know it. And I know it. Brett knows it. And Lexi knows it. And everybody knows it.
So what Lefty's saying here is that basically it's still MLS teams playing in the U.S. Open Cup. And say if a U.S. Next Pro team happens to win the U.S. Open Cup, then the big boy team, the first team, will play in the Champions League.
I don't think they can pull that off. I think it would be the second place team because I don't believe that they would allow that in CONCACAF. Now, we are talking CONCACAF. They can be bought. They can be maneuvered. They can be whatever you want to call it, made to do what the powers that be want them to do. So, Lala says here, the USSF Professional League Standards, PLS, are requirements for divisional sanctioning, D1, D2, D3, of U.S. outdoor pro soccer leagues. This is the D1 clause that will be argued about the REMLS D1 teams not participating in the U.S. Open Cup. And he highlights U.S.-based teams must participate in all representative U.S. soccer and CONCACAF competitions for which they are eligible. And I just told you what happened. Don said, well, you can have my MLS Next Pro teams in your competition. And they say, oh, Don, you are so right. Thank you, Don. I didn't even think about that. You're all clear. No worries about those rules then. Because you're giving us your little teeny boppers to play in our tournament. Thanks, Don. We appreciate it. Yeah. All right. I'm telling you, that guy's got power that he should not have on that board. And it's becoming more apparent every year how much power Don Garber has at U.S. Soccer. And with the weaklings running it, is that any shock? With the weaklings running U.S. Soccer.
Yeah.
Is it any surprise that Don Garber can pretty much get up, give everybody the middle finger, toss them a few teenage boys, walk out of the room and go, there you go. It's all settled. And no one goes, hey, Don, you're a dick. No, that's not happening. You're going to live by the rules. And it says that D1 teams must, your teams are in D3, fuckface. They don't count as D1 because MLS Next Pro is considered Division 3 soccer.
One would imagine with the split between some and MLS, why is Don still on the board for U.S. Soccer at this point?
At one point, I believe that this is back. NASL president was on the board. Don was on the board. USL had someone on the board. So all the big pro leagues were represented on the board. I don't know what the board looks like now, but at one point that was the case. Is Don the last surviving member? Could be. And he's, of course, MLS, and MLS swings the big dick in this country, apparently. At least Don Garber's.
Well, that's the thing. There's no financial incentive between U.S. Soccer and MLS now. So at this point, Don can excuse himself from the board.
He's not going to.
Sure, I know he's not going to.
And he's probably not going to leave the presidency anytime soon. He'll be there for another 10 years. He's going to have to die to leave as commissioner of MLS. Anyhow, yeah, this was a raw deal that, U.S. Soccer just bent over, grabbed their ankles, and said, "Hammer away, Don. Whatever you say, buddy. We're your bitch."
Mm-hmm.
Brian DeMarco, has anyone mentioned that a USL team folded today? Was
Which team?
San Diego?
Well, that's not fair if that's the case. Brian, mention it again. I'll pull it back up. We'll talk about it. I don't know how much we're going to be able to talk about it, but
we all knew San Diego was going.
Yeah, USL teams will fold. I mean, all lower division teams will fold. Hell, MLS teams have folded, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't see that happening going forward, but not with MLS teams. But I do see USL teams folding. Like, how in the hell is the Miami team surviving? Rio Valley? I'm surprised they were RGV.
Toros.
Are we talking
Rio
about
Grande Valley Toros
right now?
Yeah, they're the ones who folded.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't really shock me.
No.
I mean, with all the competition and clubs around, I don't see how they were going to survive.
And I mean, as a whole, I mean, it's you're going to see a lot of USL teams fold because there's no financial gain because there's no pro and rel, so you're not going to have the financial gain of moving forward. The investment's there, so if you're not going to be able to get more than 1,000 people per game,
yeah,
it's going to be tough to be financially viable.
Look at the San Diego. Look at their attendance. What was it? 2,000?
3,000
per. That's not enough. And then here's the other thing: you're as a USL owner, you are always basically a possible victim of MLS going forward. There is no such thing as having a safe organization, a safe club, a viable, continuing forward club, even if you're in Indianapolis.
Yeah, as I said, we talked about Indianapolis, right?
Right, because
we know about that.
They have no obligation whatsoever to if they decide to bring MLS soccer to Indianapolis because maybe they're billionaire. Let's say
Simon comes out and says the Simon family, and they say, "Hey, we want an MLS side." What's Ursay going to say to that? Well, yeah, hey, I'll be partners with you, and they're like, "No, fuck off."
Who's the billionaire owner of the pharmaceutical company on the South Side? The big pharma.
Eli
Lilly. That guy could afford a club in Indianapolis tomorrow.
That's why I said Simon. I mean, hell, Colts owner could do it too.
Yeah, and
we have a couple options there. Just they have no interest in soccer.
Right, but if they suddenly did, and they had a viable plan, Indy 11 could do nothing about it. They would have to compete right here in Indianapolis.
They were just like, "Hey, we'll turn into your MLS Next Pro team. How about that?" That's about the best that they could hope for.
What if the irony was there was a club that MLS club now announced for Indy, and it wasn't going to be Indy 11, and they renamed the club Racing Indy.
I swear to God, we didn't have any part of that.
And IMS,
maybe we did.
And IMS is like, "Hey, you guys do whatever you want. We're not touching you."
Well, what if IMS were part of it? And they're just like, "Hey, that's a great idea. Maybe we should do that."
Oh, IMS are horrible at partnerships. So
yeah,
if they wouldn't know a good thing, if it smacked them in their assholes, you know what? Why I know that? Because they signed. They signed a big long-term deal with this software development company. Can't remember the name, to create the next IndyCar racing game, right? Because you know there's one for F1 that comes out every season. You've got all these other games coming up. Guess what? There's not a single licensed IndyCar game that you can drive now because that company folded, or they're about to fold. And so IndyCar, even though everybody warned them going into it that these guys they're fucking failures, they're going to fail you. There will be no game will ever come out, and no game has ever come out. And now they finally had to terminate the contract with this company. IMS is run by half-wits. That's all I got to say. And I know that might get me in a lot of trouble.
It's a shame because Tom worked there for a couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know.
Tom's nice.
Yeah, Tom's great. Tom Dunmore, if you're not aware.
Dunmore, yeah.
Anyhow, yeah, so I'm not sure all the people at IMS are dimwits. Certainly Roger Penske isn't, but he's got some pretty shady people around him. So I wouldn't depend on them. All right, so now that I've wrecked everything, including any future connection I might have with IMS. Hopefully they don't watch this, and they won't. I don't think they're soccer fans.
Definitely don't clip it and tag guys. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, don't even give people ideas, dude. That's not funny. That is not funny.
Yeah.
Brett, you laugh, but that's a potential important contact that I don't need to wreck. So,
Well, then stop talking about it, man.
hey, I'm being honest.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. And you know what? They should be able to take criticism too. That's on them.
They don't.
I'm just saying they should.
Yeah. There's a guy named David Land here in Indianapolis that does his own show like this about IndyCar racing. And man, anytime he says something negative, they are all up his asshole to the point where he has to go on and say, listen, I know you guys are all going to take this the wrong way there at IMS, but I've got to be true to my fans and I got to be critical when it's necessary. But they denied him access. Does this sound familiar? They've denied him access.
It's the stupidity. It's the stupidity of it. They should absolutely lean into it and say, hey, come report with us. You can be as positive or negative and say whatever you want to say. You know,
companies are too sensitive now. They're run by nitwits, dude. They're run by most of them. These guys that went to Ivy League schools that think they are the smartest person in the room. No, because no one's ever told them, hey, by the way, you're actually the dumbest fucker in this room. So you should shut up, sit down, and listen to somebody with some common fucking sense.
Yeah, I mean, how horrible would it be to have somebody that's popular that actually criticizes you when criticism is warranted and you hold people accountable?
Yeah.
What? That's fucking science right there.
Right. And then there was the famous Indy star writer for many years who used to be pretty critical of IMS. And he lost his access too. Of course, he's dead now. He died of cancer. I can't remember his name, but he was a legend. Local.
I'm blame IMS on
that legend. Yeah. Okay.
Well, so, hey, Alexi has come out also and stated his solution for this whole problem. You know what the solution is going to be?
Get rid of Division 4?
Not too terribly far off.
Oh, okay. Do big and bold things leading up to the 2026 World Cup. MLS should buy USL. A strategic acquisition and the expansion of the business footprint that brings much of American pro soccer, outdoor soccer under one tent. I have spoken. Well, that ain't going to happen.
So we know how quickly the new franchises that are coming out, the new teams, and how quickly they're getting to that billion mark, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about like, hey, just the franchise fee is like 500 mil, but you also need to have like a stadium.
Yep.
And that stadium's going to cost you another 200 some.
Right.
So you're looking at like 7 just to even get in the fucking league.
It's nearing $1 billion.
How much do you think USL would cost if MLS was actually interested in buying them out?
Why in God's name would you want to buy USL when you can just buy the best markets one by one and pick them off?
Sure. I'm just saying you could do it instantly. By like take one franchise fee and offer it to USL.
I doubt they would do that, number one. I don't know how much extra cash MLS has hanging around the coffers, number two. Number three, what's the point when, as I said, you can pick the ones off that are worth picking off one by one. Pick off the markets that make sense and leave the ones that get 1,000 people a game. Let them flap in the wind and continue their little USL league. And you just pick off the big markets. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. So remember when all those people said I was an idiot?
So what you're saying is Indy's next, right?
No, they're not. But remember when all those idiots called me an idiot because they would laugh when I said, oh, you guys think 18 teams is it? And I'd say, dude, there is no limit. There is no limit. And they go, dude, you're full of shit, man. They can't afford it. Plus, there are no other markets that would be interested. Billionaires aren't interested in investing in MLS. And it would thin out the player pool. Dude, they just went off and bought all the players from South America they could find to make up for what would have been a player pool issue. Right? So, no, it's not an issue. And why would they stop when they can fill their coffer with $600 million expansion fees every other year? You're not going. What are you going to stop? You're going to stop when you get to 36 teams and every single major market has been sucked up. That's when you stop. I don't even know if they'll stop at that. You can have like
Yeah.
48 fucking teams.
I've always said that when they get to that point where they have that many teams, that they're gonna implement an artificial promotion relegation where they have it all internal, like MLS 1, MLS 2.
That's what my article was.
There's the fake oh, they got promoted, they got relegated.
But it'll be internal, MLS 1, MLS 2.
100%.
And that's when they get to like 40 teams, right? You can have 20 in MLS 1 and 20 in MLS 2. And, you could have like 3 or 4 teams promoted and relegated every season. So everybody's got a fair shot at getting back in or being in MLS 1. I don't know if that's going to happen. Yeah. But I do know when I wrote the article in Pink Soccer, I had a lot of people tell me I was an idiot. Now who's sucking balls, huh? Now who's sucking balls? Yeah, I wish you could suck my big balls right now. And while you're doing it, apologize. Ev Osama? EV? Ev Osama. $4.99. Thank you, brothers. Buy yourself something nice. Something nice. Okay. I do need a big jar of Vaseline to get me through the next year. That probably will
halfway there. Whoa, Derek, you're living on a prayer.
That'll cover it. All right. Vaseline's not that expensive.
Yeah. Of that $4.99, we're gonna get 2/3 of it. And then like I said, you're halfway there.
Oh yeah, because the swamp beast takes 1/3. That's right.
Yep.
We got to get our benefactor to send us bigger checks.
Come on. You'd imagine he has to have some pull in the KY industry, right? Or Vaseline.
Pull? He has some sort of pull. All right. All right. What else?
Get ready. It's your favorite segment of the show.
All right. Hold on. It'll be off, Brett. I told you this is not. Anyhow, go ahead. Transfer news. Everybody loves that transfer news. Everybody loves that transfer news. But me. Was it on?
I think you drug out the "it but me" part.
Okay. I tried, folks. But for whatever reason, it doesn't sync live with what I'm singing to. The Straight Red for the show tonight. Ernie Stewart was interviewed today and said the club has nothing planned for winter transfers. Why would they? The objective is to keep the squad they have until the summer. So no Chris Richards to PSV. Doesn't sound like Miles Robinson's going to
There
PSV.
you go. That's the one that was the big one, right?
But, Chris Richards is getting used, so he's not going anywhere. I don't think they're going to make any big moves. If anything,
he specifically says they have no planned winter transfers. But I wonder if that's considering the free agents, no transfer fee. They just got to pay the wages. Robinson comes on for the free, except for what they're going to pay him.
Well, you know who usually does a lot of transfers during the winter window? Teams that are desperate.
Fair enough.
They're not.
No.
So, there's what they're going to go out and get Miles Robinson for what?
Yeah.
One of the best back fours in the league.
In fact, let's talk about how not desperate they are.
Yeah, they're so not desperate. They're kicking everybody's ass. They're 16-0-0.
Yeah.
Ernie Stewart says they expect to exercise the buy options on U.S. men's national team international Serginho Dest and Malik Tillman. I love hearing this. Ernie, you are horrible at U.S. soccer, but boy, you are kicking ass at PSV. Mm-hmm. And by the way, that can be a thing. That can be a thing for the guy who said, well, all you guys were calling him an idiot when he was at U.S. soccer, and now you think he's great. Yeah, you can be good at one job and not good at the other. You ever heard of that, you twat? Almost everyone who follows PSV would have assumed this was the case. But Stewart is, of course, the man who goes over and decides. Yeah, this is really good news for both those guys. Really good news.
Great news for Pepe, because you keep your American contingency all there in Holland.
Yeah, Pepe will be there a while. De Jong is not going to go on forever because he's not that De Jong anymore.
Wants to live forever.
I don't know what song that is, Brett.
That was Queen's "Who Wants to Live Forever."
I was never a fan of that one.
Come on, that was a Highlander song. It was a song from the movie Highlander.
That's why you know it, because you're a Highlander nerd.
To live forever.
Never watched that. Never watched Highlander. You're a
You're
nerd.
missing it. The first Highlander is perfectly fine. Then they made sequels. Blah.
I never watched any of them, and you know what? That's good news because that means I can't be disappointed, right?
Hey, they're remaking Highlander. Actually, they're going
Of
to be.
course they are.
Well, they're remaking it with Henry Cavill, and I think that's going to be fucking solid.
God, man, they are so they're unoriginal motherfuckers out there doing.
Hollywood does suck. That big of a donkey dick. I agree.
God, nobody has any creativity anymore. So this is good news. I'm glad to hear it, and thank you, Ernie, for the good work you're doing at PSV. Hey, fuck you for the work you do at US Soccer, though. All right?
Yeah.
No, thank you for Berhalter. That sucked, dude. I'm sorry, it sucked, Ernie. It sucked.
Hey, my buddy thought he had good ideas. He said.
Yeah,
He talked a big game. We're gonna play this style. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that.
You don't hire your best friends. That's pretty wrong. Or in Jay's case, his brother. All right, what else we got?
Well, we're gonna branch off into our favorite Dortmund blog.
Oh yeah, the BVB guys.
Yeah.
Some of Borussia Dortmund's leading players have even sought dialogue with Hans-Joachim Watzke and informed him that further cooperation with Edin Terzic is not expedient enough.
Something's not happening quick enough. We tell them all the time that we're playing like shit. We need to play more offensive. Fuck this defensive shit.
So obviously,
not abiding by our complaints.
Right. So Spieler protest obviously is the player protest against. Not that that's really hard to figure out, even if you don't speak German.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of unhappiness going on there at the board level. All right. They're not happy with Terzic. The player level, they're not happy with Terzic. Here are the guys, I guess, complaining. Yeah. Emre Can, Julian Brandt, Marco Reus, Sebastian Haller, Gregor Kobel, and Niklas Schula have lodged a complaint. Well, that's how it's pronounced.
No. I was going to say, well, he's basically lost the team right there.
That's the whole starting lineup.
That's the core. That's the core.
Haller should start more, but he doesn't always. Have lodged a complaint with their coach, Edin Terzic. At least they lodged it to him, I guess. The accusation over defensive tactics and wrong tactical guidelines. Sure seems that way. The players don't seem happy, and I've never seen a team play with as little excitement and love for the game as I have this year with Terzic. I mean, it's even Juventus give more effort, and they're playing soccer terrorists, and they at least play like they're playing for the manager. The guys at Dortmund look like they're kind of fed up.
Yeah.
So
they can play a bottom dwelling team, and you're sitting there going like, I don't know what's going to happen this match.
Exactly. It's
I mean, in years past, it was always exciting to watch. You're like, well, geez, Dortmund's guaranteed to let in at least one goal, so they need to at least score 3 goals.
Yeah,
and they're always pressing. Jack Pineda says, did you guys go over Gio firing his agent? We talked about it last show, actually, from the BBB blog.
Yeah, we did.
We talked about how he got rid of his agency.
And, I mean, when a player does that, that means they're looking for maybe options that
something new
their other agent couldn't or wouldn't or can't provide. And they just are looking for some new thinking. Maybe his current agent was telling him there at Wasserman, hey, just hang out there, stick it out with Dortmund. And he's like, well, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I
hear Terzic's contract in a year and a half will be over, and you can then you'll be back in the group of things. He's like, fuck that, bitch.
And his agents might also have been very realistic with him, saying, listen, based on the way things have been going, if you go somewhere else now, you're not going to make the kind of money you're making at Dortmund right now, which is probably true. He probably won't. And that's because he isn't being played. So, I mean,
take a pay cut, move to a team that wants you.
Right. I mean, he did play this weekend, but I got that somewhere here.
Yeah, we can talk about that in just a sec. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, so he's looking for new ideas. When you're looking for new ideas, you go to a different place. than you've been getting your ideas prior. Should Eden Terzic still fail and a sacking is inevitable, then the clear information from Dortmund is that Oliver Glasner is a very hot candidate to take over. I mean, it's presumptuous at this point to say who's definitely going to take over. I mean, that's hard to say.
Well, I wonder if that's the information that's coming out. It's like, hey, if we got somebody lined up, I don't know how open they are about that in Germany or anything, but
I've heard other names besides that. I've heard Fabian Hertzler, who is at St. Pauli, who's been a superstar ever since he's become a manager. They are currently sitting second in two Bundesliga. I believe it's second or third. And this is just a second year coaching, but he seems to be like the really hot guy people are talking about right now in Germany. And he's young. He's in his 30s, for Christ's sake.
They are second right now.
Okay. And then the other guy, of course, who's going to continue to be in hot demand in about a year, I believe when his contract is up for re-signing, would be Matarazzo. So wherever he goes, good things happen for the most part, right? I think they let him go too early last time at Stuttgart. But
do you think Dortmund would go that route?
It's possible. I don't know if they completely match because Matarazzo he's very much a guy who does whatever is needed to be done to win.
Yeah, 100%.
So
don't disagree with that at all.
He's not a flashy guy.
Exactly. I'm just saying, will Dortmund go that route, or will they try to aim to get a flashier signing as a manager?
Yeah, I would probably think more flashy and young. I think they'll try to go young as well. So march to Dortmund. No, Fumar, that is not happening. Sorry, buddy. I don't think that there are many teams interested in Marsh, which is why he is at CBS. If there was anyone remotely interested in the top 4 leagues, and they were making a good offer, I'm pretty sure he would have taken the job because his passion is coaching on a day-to-day basis club football.
Yep.
So I'm just guessing that performance at Leeds scared a lot of people off.
That's very, very possible. And it's also, we're looking at the winter, and maybe he's biding out time until summertime when opportunities will arise. But I agree with you on this.
Well, it's not only that too, right? It's also that he is a systems guy.
Yeah.
And he's very rigid with his. Oh, what's going on there? He's very rigid. I heard a lot of scuffle. Did you not hear that?
No.
Okay.
Neighbors having sex again?
He's very rigid. Yeah. Very rigid. Not as in hard as a rock, but rigid in the way he sets up his club and the way he wants them to play. And that sort of style is dying out a little.
He's an offensive-minded attacking coach that could play into where the players want to play.
Yeah, but that whole sort of gegenpress thing is a little stale. Like, you don't see a whole lot of teams doing that anymore. Like, there are fewer and fewer of them. Like, it was the hot thing to do for a while. Like, Red Bull made it hot, Red Bull, Leipzig. And now it's just not even Leipzig will do it anymore. They're like, nah, you know what? We saw what Nagelsmann did. I think we'll stick to what he did. Jesse, hit the road. So that's why he didn't last there either. Now, I think he was prematurely ejaculated at Leeds, but that's just my opinion. I'm sure a lot of Leeds people would disagree with that.
Well, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, of course, but they ejected him without an option.
They ejaculated him without an option.
Yeah. Ejaculated. You say potato. Either way, he left.
Listen, at the time,
they had no option. They had no options for a month and a half. They had an interim backup who coached under Marsh.
Mm-hmm.
And it was no better. If anything, it got worse.
Had the youth coach too for a little while, and then they brought in the guy that looked like Mike D, and that didn't work. And then they brought in old man Stinky Pants. Used to be the manager of Bolton all those years. and that didn't work. So yeah, whatever they got going on now makes a lot more sense with Daniel Farke. Hell, fucking yay! Farke's a good manager. I think he was prematurely ejaculated by his last Bundesliga team.
Oh, he was in Gladbach, wasn't he? Yeah.
That's premature. And look, how much better are they this year? They're not
equal. They haven't improved.
Floating just right there down near the bottom of the table, but not at the bottom.
They lost their big striker, and they brought in a loanee. They didn't do anything.
Who's been injured?
Yeah,
forever.
They haven't done. Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, it's been about a month and a half or so.
3 weeks.
Has it only been 3? Really?
I don't think so.
I went all the way up to a month and a half.
No,
that was before the window, though. I thought.
No, I think it's been 3 weeks since PFOC got injured.
It was just before the window because he pulled his right testicle like the weekend before.
But
how
then
long ago was the weekend?
Then he came back and played one game and got injured again, I believe.
Yeah,
so
prematurely unstrained your wing, I guess. I don't know.
Your testicular area. All right. So yeah, there you go. That's Dortmund. What else can you say?
Well, while we're talking about Dortmund, let's talk about Reyna's game. Did you sit down and watch it?
Oh, the whole 10 minutes? Wait, let me see how much he played.
Reyna played like the entire second half.
30. Where was it? He did play like 27 minutes.
It was like 40 minutes. I mean, he got in early in the second half, and they had like 9 minutes extra time.
I mean, it wasn't bad. No one bitched at him afterwards. There's always good news.
So, what this had to have been a coaching decision because he came in and he sat back deep.
Yeah, he did.
He practically was collecting the ball by the center backs from the goalie and everything, and it had to have been a coaching decision because he rarely got up in the attack.
Right.
And I'm sure that wasn't by choice. He personally wasn't sitting there going like, "Oh, I'll show them I'm not a defensive liability. I'll play defense the entire game."
No, he wouldn't do that without being told to do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was so weird. Whenever they went on the counter, I'm like, okay, where's Reyna? When he wasn't there.
Yeah, he was a halfway marker. He was playing rock, paper, scissors with the center backs.
Like playing a 6, for Christ's sake. I don't know. It was really...
Well, at least we know we can do it now.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, yeah. So he played 32 minutes in that tie.
Plus stoppage, which, again, brought up to close to 40 minutes.
Did you see the guy he had to play against? What's his name? Philip Titz was the center forward for the other team.
No.
Philip Titz. Yeah. It's his name. What are you going to
do? He had nearly 100% passing. He was fucking solid all match.
He always is.
But he wasn't assertive. He didn't assert himself into the match. He was just, I'm filling out the holes of the midfield and I'm moving the ball around.
Yeah.
That's literally all he did. He almost had a decent shot, mind you, right at the goalkeeper.
Oh, right at the end there. Yeah.
Yeah. It was unfortunate that the goalkeeper was there as a solid shot. It's just, again, right at him, unfortunately.
Right to him. Yep.
But
I think the announcer said, man, he hit that too perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, he hit it too squarely.
It was one of those matches you're looking at like the only thing I don't like about this match is that he wasn't being creative in the attack. But then again, I think that was a coaching decision.
Yes, it was. Had to be.
So I mean, that's not who he is. There's no way in hell that he'd come into a match and not try to be creative. But,
yeah, let's play him and then play him out of position.
See, we played him for like 40 minutes. He didn't do shit.
He didn't do anything because he was hanging out with the center backs. Yeah, so, that was not good. I was happy to see that he played, but and I watched.
I was happy to see that he played well at the role he was asked to play. He had a decent amount of recoveries. One of the times he actually pressured and dispossessed the opposition, almost caused a counterattack that scored a goal, but they fucked it up. Not trying to give him credit where credit's not due there, but I mean he was doing good work on the defensive side of the game. It's just he was not being included in the offensive side.
Man, you must have really watched this game because this is the most you've ever said about a guy who played 30 minutes.
No, well, there's certain players. I usually sit down and watch Weston. I watch the AC Milan games, and then Dortmund if he's playing
PSV.
And then I watch PSV when I get a chance. I didn't watch this week though.
Oh, you missed a good one.
Sure, yeah, I know. I saw some of the highlight reels, the every touches and stuff like that.
Yeah. Great game. Fun to watch just because they were so dominant.
Yeah.
Sad for Mihailovic, though. And I know you had that guy's like, you didn't really do anything wrong. Yeah, but that's the thing. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
All right. So are we moving on to
wanted to bring this up. Oh, wait. It got removed here. It's right here. This is what I want to bring up here.
Sabi, top-rated League One performer this past weekend. Didn't get to see the goals. Did you get to see highlights of that?
Nope.
So I'm not exactly sure. And by this is wrong. He did not play left midfielder.
I think they're just pigeonholing people in.
Oh, they always do. What is this again?
This is the player team of the week, League One.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe they just did pigeon. I thought
they like we got to throw him in there. The other guys had good games too, so let's just throw him at left. Fuck it.
Yeah,
he's in the midfield. Why not?
He plays that wide, more of an attacking role. Well, it's good to know, and maybe he'll make me eat crow. We'll see. Can he keep doing this the whole season? And if he does keep doing this, does he get as much recognition by U.S. Soccer and Greg Berhalter as, say, a Timothy Weah, who got called up while he was in France and wasn't doing much of anything, right?
Yeah, Gino was included as well.
Yeah, but he was a kind of on and off again player, though. I mean,
sure. I'm just saying. I mean, you show the respect towards League One, regardless.
He wasn't a regular starter, and Sabi hasn't been a regular starter until recently. So, can he keep this up? If he keeps it up, he will get his name back in. At least you would think the verbiage and discussion of replacements and backups out wide for when guys get injured. Because obviously we need more options out there. Because Taylor Booth doesn't look like he's going to be an option the way he's playing.
Oh yeah, he's downward spiraling right now.
Now his brother played better.
I'm sure Larry will be happy to hear us say that.
His brother played better than him this weekend.
Yeah.
Zach Booth got an assist. Yep, and started for Volendam. So there you go. Are we seeing a changing of the brothers? I don't know.
Well, the same people were asking about the Aaronsons as well, but
no,
it hasn't quite taken off, has it?
They're both stinking it up about the same amount, unfortunately. Paxton's another guy that gets on the pitch. It's just invisible for too long of stretches. You're like, where is he? Has he touched the ball yet? And then he'll touch the ball. He'll either give it away. He did get a shot off. This is last weekend. But, yeah, just nothing that shows promise. When you go out there and you get a chance, you have to fucking wreck balls, dude. You got to go out there and show you belong like Dempsey did every time a new manager came. He had to prove himself again. And when he got on the goddamn pitch, man, he made a difference in that game. And it was obvious when you watched the game, he was making a difference. And he was playing kind of a more aggressive. He was a midfielder. But, yeah, he made a difference. We're not seeing that from Paxton, from Brendan, from Mihailovic. We just if you're not going to show up, don't bother going.
Yep. 100% agree.
All right.
I guess I've got the last topic here available, but I mean, why don't we do the rest of the Yanks while we're talking about it?
Let's do it because that makes sense. Trusty went 90, by the way, in a loss to Chelsea. But let me start from the beginning. On Friday,
Chelsea actually won?
Yeah, they did. I mean, with all the money they spent, you'd think that'd buy you a few games here and there. But it should buy you a game versus Sheffield United, for Christ's sake. By the way, when you watch all these motherfucking Chelsea fans on the X, like, why are they so nice to some of these players like Mudryk? And why are they so kind? Like, that guy hasn't shown up and done dick for that team.
Yeah.
So, yet, when Pulisic was there, man, they were instantaneously on his sweaty balls every time he had a bad game or a bad touch. Like, they just fucking hated that guy. That's why Chelsea fans, for the most part, can suck my dick and fuck your team. I hate Chelsea.
I mean, we talk about is there still stigma for American players? And for the bulk of things, I would say probably definitely not as big as it was or prevalent as it was in the past.
Not American Chelsea fans. They didn't do that.
Oh, no. I'm saying just American players.
Yeah.
A stigma for American players.
But what I'm saying is it was the English Chelsea fans that got all up on his balls.
Sure. That's the stigma I'm referring to, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But the American Chelsea fans, I'll give them a pass because I think they were more defending him against the English Chelsea fans who were hating on him.
Sure.
From what I remember. I don't know if that was the case at the very end, but it certainly was at the beginning. Matt Turner. Oh, boy, Matt. Oh, Matt. Matt had a stinker. One big stinker. And then a stinker he couldn't save and didn't put his body in front of. Now, granted, it was a blaster from short range, but it was at an angle. You've got to at least get some limb on that, like an arm or a fist or a noggin or your cock and balls or whatever. You get something on that to make sure you at least try to save it.
Yeah.
Especially after you fucked up and gave the ball away. I hope this doesn't mean that Matt's going to be benched for the next game. I hope we're not at a point where each time a keeper makes a mistake, he's gone for the next match. So hopefully he gets a run at the games. By the way, somebody I noticed in the last show asked, who the fuck's Ted Westerfeld? So we didn't provide good context. I guess we assumed.
Thank you. Yes, that's what I was going to say.
We assumed everybody knew who Ted Westerfeld was, but he's been around for so long, guys. That's why I thought everybody knew who he was. He's the big pro reg guy. He's been fighting for promotion and relegation for MLS for about, I'd say 15 years, nonstop. So that's who he is. Look him up, Ted Westervelt. Or don't look him up because he can be a bit of an ass. Balogun, 90. No offense to Ted, but he could, at least in the good old days, be kind of an ass. I don't know if he's gotten better or not, but now that he follows us again, sorry if you're watching, Ted. All right.
Tact has made the Jesus Ferreira rant that you had that went viral.
Yeah,
he made it viral again. It's back out. It's back out in circulation.
How do you do that?
He just reposted it and said, "This is soccer heritage."
Okay. All right. Last time I looked, it had like 250,000 views. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Real quick, I wanted to, before we go on to the next person, I was scrolling through some of the Vex and I came across another news blog that has to do with Terzic.
Terzic will be Dortmund's coach in 2024, regardless of what happens against Mainz.
He's got another year on his contract, I guess.
Yeah, it would be a little sudden. Now, okay, into 2024 doesn't mean he won't be fired by the end of the next season.
That's a great fucking point. I didn't even think about that. He's going to be their coach through January 2024. That's literally like a month away. Right. So I don't know why I was thinking that was a whole year from now.
Yeah, and they're not going to lose to Mainz, for Christ's
sake. That's a whole nothing burger of a post right there.
Yeah, okay.
I'm looking at it going, oh, they're guaranteeing him at least another fucking year. Goddamn.
They're guaranteeing him another month. All right. Yeah. All right. Balogun went 90 in a loss. Okay, he didn't score. He didn't get an assist, but it doesn't mean that he had a horrible game. He just didn't do either one of those things. So I'm not going to read into the stats too much either. Joe Scally, 90 in a tie. Man, you're playing the guy at right center back. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, is he going to look a little out of place on occasion? Yeah. But for the most part, he looks fine. He did this weekend. And then they interviewed him after the game, too. So, on the broadcast. And he's like, I know, well, he kind of said, I know none of the goals were not specifically my fault, but when we get scored on,
team.
That's us. Yeah. The team gets scored on, so we're all responsible. McKennie, 90 in a tie, along with Weah's 30. Yeah, McKennie is always important cog in the machine there. Weah still not looking 100% comfortable, but he got to play way further up the field. But being that they were in, no, they weren't in the lead at the time when they were in the tie. You'd think they would go for it more, right?
Yeah, you're competing for top spot in Serie A. You've got to go for it, especially against Genoa. So
they just had no extra gear on that team.
Well, I mean that seems to be a luxury ball.
Yeah, there's no extra gear there.
You don't get scored on a lot, and you don't score all that often.
Yeah, it seemed like a wasted opportunity. It really did. But neither of those guys played poorly. I didn't really notice Weah for those 30 minutes much, but that might say something.
Just getting back into the groove of things, I imagine, at that point.
Yeah. Reynolds 90 and Yao 81 in a win for Westerlo, a win they desperately needed. By the way, I'd let Tack know he's been pronouncing Eupen wrong. So hopefully he'll fix that. I was just kidding around, but he said, "How do you pronounce that?" Slonina 90 and a loss for speaking of Eupen. And then Eupen, excuse me. Now I'm back to saying incorrectly. And then Max Dietz 90 and Green 90 in a tie for Greuther Fürth. Gennaro Negro in the 18 for ADO. John Hilton went 90, got an assist for Dordrecht's win. Osadina came in for 76 as well for Dordrecht in that game. Rick Van Hees, 45 for Utrecht 2 in a loss. Somebody brought up Matthew Healy, I think, in our last podcast. Matthew Healy is from the Republic of Ireland, plays for Ipswich. I don't think he has any American connections that I could find. So I thought I'd bring that up. Trusty, we mentioned Chris Richards back at CDM, 90 in a tie. Jedi, 90 in a loss. Probably the worst game Jedi's played for a while because he has been rocking his ass. He got semi-burned a couple times in that game. Reem, we can confirm that Reem has some sort of calf strain. So he's going to be gone for the rest of this year. Haji Wright, 23 in a tie, so he's back to bench. Holmes, 30 in a loss. Here's an idea to press North End. Start Dwayne Holmes every game, you dumb fuckers. Every time he doesn't start, you guys lose. You stupid shits. All right, enough of that. Cannon, 45 and lost. Kelman did not dress, by the way, for QPR, but Cannon did go 45. Then I think there was a red card, so they had to pull somebody off, so they pulled Cannon off at halftime. Maloney, 90 in a win. Hey, looks like Heidenheim are going to stay up.
Guaranteed at this point.
I mean, yeah, because teams at the bottom are so bad.
They've won so many games so far that there's no chance that the bottom three are going to catch up to them.
Those bottom three are bad this season. Sabi, we discussed. Aronson, we already discussed. 15 minutes and another loss, but this one is to Bochum, which is even more embarrassing. Reyna, we talked about. Paredes, only the last three for Wolfsburg's. Brooks, 90 and a loss. Hoffenheim got to be careful. They're not going to go down or anything, but not looking as good lately. Mendez started. Your homeboy started for Vizela and went 69 in a tie.
Yeah.
69, baby.
Benji
Michel, 6 in a win for Aruca, also in Portugal. Zach Booth, 90 and an assist for Volendam. Busio, 77. Tessman, 90 in another loss. So Busio got an assist, but they got to be careful because they're still at the top. They're at second, but guys are catching up behind them. So
yeah, I mean, fourth place is only 3 points back. So
yeah,
but then again, Parma's only 2 points above. So I mean, it's not like one team is taking off. I mean, Venezia is still there. But yeah, you're right. They've lost 2 in a row, but they also won 3 games prior to as well.
Yeah. You know what I tried to find today at Myers? Pecorino Romano. Motherfuckers don't carry Pecorino Romano.
Is that Fabrizio's brother?
It's in the Parm family. It is. And it's really good. Pecorino Romano. Not Ray Romano, not related to him at all. Yeah, my name's Ray, and this is my brother Pecorino. All right.
My parents hated me when I was a kid.
All right, where were we? Zach Booth, we said. Booth, blah, 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 blah. CCV, 90 and another loss for Celtic. This one to Hearts. Yeah, they are still in first, but people are gaining, so they can't have any losses. Conrad did not dress. Conrad didn't even dress. They said no uniform for you today. Lucas Poss, 90 and a loss for Lausanne Ushi. They are currently in last place in Switzerland, and he plays left center back for them. Figueroa, 90 in a loss for the Liverpool U18s versus the Wolves U18s. They lost 4-1 too. They got their asses handed to them. Fossey, 79 and a 0-0 tie, but he left the game injured. It didn't look too serious. I watched that one too. He's got big hair, so it's easy to see him and when he's on when he's playing. Then Gooch went 90 with a goal in a tie.
Good on Gooch.
He played right wing this time. He didn't even play right back. They said, go play offense. Go play offense, Gooch.
So the games I saw him play Sunderland last year, man, were all right wing. Because we had that big conversation. Like, you're like, he was right back. I'm like, no, he kept playing right wing. And he played great at right wing. Right wing back. This is the argument we had. We're having it again. All right, yeah. Pulisic, 90 and an assist. Musa was out with a left testicular injury. He'll be back soon. But Pulisic played really well and really happy to not have to watch 90 minutes or 70 minutes of Chuck Wazy, that fucking selfish bastard. Chuck Wazy. Yeah. And glad to see Poku pulled from Aze's lineup in 36 minutes along with Mihailovic, because he's another one of those useless fucking players. Toljan went 90 in a win at left back this time for Sassuolo. Sam Vines did not dress. Another guy, they've hid his uniform. Paxton Aronson did not dress. They hid his uniform. McKenzie went 90 in a win. Fontana in the 18 for Swole in their loss versus Ajax. Did not play. Dest and Tillman and Pepe all played. Dest got 90 and a goal. Tillman with Dest and Tillman were just amazing. And Tillman got 70. Pepe came in for the last 20. I was really hoping he would squeeze another goal out, but he didn't get really much of an opportunity. Yeah. Let's see. By the way, Fabian Hertzler, who I mentioned earlier, who's the manager of St. Pauli, is an American, just so you know. And he's one of the hottest managers in two. I do remember talking about him when we talked about the top 5 potential U.S. managers out there. Right. And I know we were sitting there going like, oh God, it could be anybody besides Berhalter. Who could it be? At this point, I take Fabian Hertzler in a second. And I think that might be it. I am busy making a new intro for next year for the show. I started poking around last night, finding clips. So it'll be fun to put those together. Probably Wednesday. Be my guess, my day off where from after work I have no responsibilities whatsoever. So also be sure to check out our new FIFA 23. We don't just play the game, like we talk and stuff too while we're playing. Talk shit mostly. Mm-hmm. All right. Trying to hold off on the cursing just so we can put ads back up on our show. I don't think the cursing we did on that during that game was that bad. It's funny because after I think I cursed twice, and I'm sitting there going like, oh, God, I only didn't say that. This could have been a clean show. Because I don't think I cursed. I don't know if you did or not. I probably did. We curse so much right now that it just sounds normal. So when we don't curse, it doesn't sound normal. So since it didn't sound normal, since it sounded normal, you probably did curse. I probably did. Because I think I said like, oh, fuck, when Reem fucked up. At some point, maybe. Right now, we're just getting the whole recording the game and doing it properly, I guess, down pat. Yeah, so this last night was our first run. So we're using Ninja, right? And we had to get the sound balance right. We still recorded it, but, I mean, it was a test run that turned out so good, we're going to use it. Yeah. So I'll probably post after the show tonight. I'll probably get it up to come out tomorrow.
And, eventually we'll be happy to take on, some of the guys here that watch the show. But we're going to have to get a lot better first because we are bad. We are bad.
We're sitting there playing, I get dispossessed. I'm like, oh, fuck. And then all of a sudden Derek passes it backwards to me. I'm like, oh, thanks. And he goes,
breakaway.
We're sitting there going like, oh, man, this is gonna be kind of embarrassing to throw this up. But
yeah,
we're downright awful at this. But, give us a couple weeks.
Yeah, give us a couple weeks. We'll get better because I've always been really good at all the other FIFAs. I am straining to see the little characters. Even though you were wearing red and I was wearing white, I could barely tell the teams apart. They were so tiny. And it's not like I got a tiny screen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Which system? Xbox.
We're on Xbox Series X.
Yeah, the new one.
The new series.
Yeah.
Which is compatible with PS5s and PCs. If you're on one of the older Xbox series, sucks.
Yeah, give us time to get better, and then we'll start taking on you guys on Sundays. An occasional match. Like if you have a buddy, Brett and I will play against you and your buddy. Well, then you'll really kill us, but we'll get better. We'll get because we used to be.
I put 3 on you last night.
I know you did put 3 on, but we have no idea what level we were playing on.
Sure.
We played 6-minute halves, which just went on forever for me. So
yes, it's the new EAFC 24 that we're talking about,
and that's getting horrible ratings. So I'm not sure how many people are going to buy it. The ratings on it are bad.
I think people are going to buy it regardless because they want to keep up. Just same reason why everybody buys the Maddens and everybody buys the NBAs. They buy it just to stay up to date with everything else, and it's gonna. I guarantee you, they're still going to have, massive numbers.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that, and then you had one more thing here.
The main topic, Derek. We haven't even talked about our actual topic.
Yeah, I know.
It's always this way.
So we're on to the main topic, which is what is the state of the U.S. men's national team as we end the year 2023? Would we call it an A+, an A-, an A, a B+, a B-, a B, a C+? I don't know. What do we call it? But we're going to get to that. Really like Jesse Marsh on the new pod with Jimmy and Charlie. I haven't seen that yet, but I will check it out.
I've seen some clips of it, and I like him on it so far.
Is Jesse being ultra honest? Because
he's being kind of straightforward, but also kind of he's like, hey, we haven't had those key victories yet. But it's not necessarily. I've got a clip here, pull up here in a segment. It's like, but we haven't really had it thanks to the Nations League setup, stuff that we always talk about when it comes to Berhalter's roster or his history of games.
So, what Marsh will do is he'll say grand things like, "We don't have a signature victory," but what he's not allowed to do is tell you exactly why, right? Because he can't. Because if he told us why, that would look bad on him, right? Because he is probably the next guy in line for the job. So criticizing the current coach of the team would be bad taste, correct? So you're never going to hear out of Marsh's mouth why. And the other problem with the show, this is my premonition before seeing it, is that it's going to be difficult for him to agree with comments from Jimmy and Charlie that are correct, that are harsh on Berhalter, without there being some serious uncomfortableness in the room. Because we know Charlie can be downright vicious on Berhalter and has in the past. I mean, not horribly vicious, but I mean, for a mainstream guy.
Look at him now, man. He looks pissed. I think he's gonna rip into Berhalter in a second.
Oh, he looks like a teddy bear. All right.
Here's a little snippet.
All right.
The biggest disadvantage they have is in the current form of the way that Nations League works around the world and COVID. They haven't always had the opportunity to play top teams, but they just had Germany at home and they fell flat in that match. So again, I think for us, before we want to start talking about the potential of winning a World Cup or making a semifinal at home or however we want to speak about it, We need to start to see some big wins here at this moment in time in this tournament.
Same thing you said before.
Yeah, it's also the same thing that we've all been saying too, in that sense that, Nations League has kind of screwed over our ability to have high-end friendlies. No longer are the days that we're going to go to Europe and play Italy and Germany and Italy. Very few and far between opportunities there.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing we've been saying. But he adds a little caveat in the end saying, hey, but this is the time. This is now what we have to do.
And playing against bigger, better teams is how you get better.
Mm-hmm.
Like that goes for any fucking sport, right? So if you play tennis and you only play the schmucks in your neighborhood that you can crush easily, you're not going to get any better. You're not being pushed to get better. It's when you leave the neighborhood and go play a state tournament and lose in the second round and find out, oh, I'm not really that good. I mean, I'm okay. I got out of the first round, but I got my ass handed to me in the second round. There are a lot better people than me. Yeah. So I need to start playing against those kind of guys on the regular if I'm going to get any better. And that goes for soccer teams too. And so it's going to be hard for us to get better. I mean, we're going to have to soak up all the knowledge we possibly can and keep from what we gained in the World Cup and what we're going to gain from Copa, playing against better teams,
and potentially the next Gold Cup too, because we're apparently bringing in, from rumored, we're bringing in some decent talent. It's funny you bring that up. The whole we're not going to get any better by playing weaker teams. We're only going to get better by playing stronger teams and stuff like that. Yeah. We've got an ad here on not an ad, but basically an advertisement from Fox Soccer talking about the top U.S. men's goal scorers for 2023.
Are you fucking joking?
Derek, we got Jesus Ferreira with 8 goals this season, and nobody talks about him anymore. What is happening here?
Who made this promo?
Fox.
Who's the moron at Fox Soccer who put this together? Who is the total dipshit ass licker who put this together?
If only we had more Jesus Ferreiras on the team, we would have beaten Germany.
They should have had him dressed as a pirate, and that's the only way this would have made it acceptable.
Did I do this?
Otherwise,
somebody tagged me on it, and I put the Jack Sparrow photo underneath it. I think Chris tagged me in it.
And look how much bigger he is than both Pepe and Pulisic.
He's got 8 goals, of course.
He's played such a big, large role in the progress of this team. He is just goddamn Ferreira. Can't believe he's not starting every game for us. He's that fucking good. No context. That's what this stupid poster is. This is a dumb poster. Whoever wasted their goddamn time making this is an absolute idiot.
Are you saying the 2 hat trick matches, the back-to-back hat trick matches don't matter when it's against Caribbean teams?
Yes. Your cock and balls could have scored those goals, Brett, from your younger years.
I've scored many a hat trick with my cock and balls.
Does EB know? Is she aware of this? All right. This is a dumb poster, and whoever made it's a dummy. Whoever approved posting it's a dummy.
That builds up to your point you were making earlier. I mean, Ferreira is being heralded as the highest goal scorer for this year, but he played against the weaker opposition. He hasn't gone out to play the state teams yet.
Dude, is this surprising after they slobbered all over Ferreira's nuts during the fucking Gold Cup? They slobber knocked him. They were chugging his jizz down their chin and their throats the whole fucking Gold Cup coverage, to the point where I flew into a rage that now has been seen by 250,000 people. So this poster, I'm not going to let that do that again to me.
Nope.
But I got to tell you, this is itching me where I can't reach the itch, because it's infuriating, right? This kind of stupidity. Why don't we make a statue for Jesus Ferreira, right? Let's make a statue for him at Fox Soccer. No, better yet, let's make 2 of them. You can put one of them in Lexi's fucking backyard so he can jerk off to it when he wakes up every morning. Man, Fox Soccer, they have got to be the most clueless sons of bitches that ever roamed the soccer world.
I love the facial expressions on all three of these players in this promo. You have Jesus, who clearly won the gold medal of goal scoring this year, and he's celebrating. He's like, "Woo! Life doesn't get better than this." Pepe's over there with 7 goals, looking envious. I wish I had 8 goals. I wish. And then Pulisic looks like he's really pissed off. He's like, "Motherfucker."
He's the most unimportant player. Wait. Pepe's head is smaller. So he's actually the most unimportant player on this poster. These guys know nothing that work there. Like if I was the executive at Fox Soccer and somebody said, "Hey man, I got this idea. Look at this poster." I'd say you're fired. Get out of my office. You're fired. Hire me someone new with a fucking clue. With a clue.
Hey, but it drew in almost 80,000 views on this picture.
Probably 75,000 enraged people. That'd be my guess.
Well, 478 people liked it.
There you go. 478 people out of 78,000 people were dumb enough to like this. They were stupid enough to hit like on this poster.
USA.
I don't know what
USA.
That's actually a good thing, Brett, because that's a very small percentage of 78,000 people.
Yeah. USA expat says all Fox employees.
Probably.
Or their Lexi's 478 burner accounts.
Yeah. Who else was a big Ferreira fan? Oh, I hate to say this, but wasn't Sam a big Ferreira advocate?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely was.
Let's hope he had enough sense not to click like on this.
478 soccer dads.
478 fucking brains full of eggnog. That's what that is. All right, enough of this.
Factually correct, though, Derek. Factually correct.
So what? There are all kinds of things that are factually correct. Why don't you make a poster of Berhalter being the best U.S. manager in 2023?
I'm sure that's next.
Because he had more wins than BJ or Hudson. So make a poster with Greg up top with all the wins he had and make BJ a little smaller and then make Hudson a little smaller and make a new poster and said, Greg, top winner of managers in 2023 for the U.S. men's national team. Eggnog, yay or nay? Yeah, if you go overboard with eggnog, and sometimes it can creep up and get you, the after effects are really bad. But I love eggnog.
I say nay.
Nay.
Tom even follows up yay with rum, but why not just drink the rum?
Man, eggnog's delicious, dude. It's you're un-American. You're un-American.
No. Pretty sure eggnog came from another country. You're anti-American for liking some other countries' booze there.
Well, I mean, what do they call everybody now who's got a bad opinion or says something unpopular? You're a Nazi, Brett. That's what you are.
Yes,
everyone's a fucking Nazi today. It's like, hello, have you studied any history, you peckerwood? It's going to be really hard to get up there with the Nazis and what they did. It's really, really difficult. So can we stop comparing every person you don't like with Nazis?
Did you know that eggnog was actually a Middle Ages cure for the cold and flu remedy? Or it was a cold and flu remedy.
Well, that's what they told them.
Yeah.
Just made you drunk, shut up, and go to sleep.
Yeah. You sleep off. What is it? You sleep off a fever? Is that what it is? What's the common medical phrase for that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I can't think of what it is.
I did sleep at a Holiday Inn once, but I'm not a doctor. I know I look really smart, but yeah.
Still my jokes.
I don't know the fever thing. All right, what else we got?
Well, we're still talking about the state of the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah.
Final topic, and we're just on that. And
yes.
I brought this up because this is the state. We're heralding a goal scorer, an epic goal scorer of Ferreira as our number one goal scorer for the year.
Yeah, that's a really bad intro. I'm sorry.
There it is. It's you feed a fever, you starve a cold. That's what it is.
Okay.
I guess.
Feed a fever. Feed it. All right. So based on this poster, you'd think state of the U.S. soccer would be awesome, but it's really not. We got some issues. We got some major issues. I think we just recently figured out that we don't have a lot of depth on the wing, which is why maybe somebody like emerging, like Emmanuel Sabi, would be a good thing if this isn't a fluke weekend. Let's hope it's not a fluke. What if this continues for him? Taylor Booth is sinking into the ocean right now. We don't have a lot of depth out wide, outside of Weah and Pulisic. You can't claim Aronson's the solution. Aronson is the solution for anybody right now. Not his club team. I'm guessing his pub team. I don't know. But he ain't the replacement. So I'd say outside of the starting lineup, we're pretty weak depth-wise out wide. So I'm going to give the winger situation right now, because of the lack of depth, a C+. I think he's got a lot of work to go. We need somebody else to emerge. I do not think Zendejas is the answer, although I'm sure he'll still get some more opportunities because I'm sure there are going to be more injuries before the World Cup. Sargent is an awesome idea, Tom, and we talked about him a couple shows ago, was it?
Yep.
When we did the depth thing. I think Sargent is a monster pick, and I know people keep saying, well, we're only taking 2 center forwards. Well, that dude can play out wide. And do a really good job.
We've had a couple-year discussion of whether or not he's actually an 8.
Right. Exactly. He's not an 8, but he can play out wide and he can play center forward. Sorry, Berlin. But even with Sargent back, that's only 3 guys. What you really need is 4. You need 4 solid guys who you're not really dropping a level if Weah comes out and you replace him with Sargent. But if Pulisic comes out, you replace him with Aronson, that's a massive drop-off, especially against a world-class team like Argentina or Brazil or Uruguay in that case, which will be coming up. So we can't afford to have injuries at wing. So I'm really worried about the winger situation. I'm not worried about the center forward situation, except for in one way, Brett. Greg Berhalter.
No.
Greg Berhalter. No, I'm not even. Jesus might as well be living on another planet to me.
We already acknowledge the fact that regardless that he incorporated a quote unquote 10 in this situation, the BJ 10, if you will, he is still inept as far as utilizing his striker properly.
Correct.
It is just fascinating. So how he comes back and our 9s just
go right back
to and flumble,
Yeah. So that also then provides you some warning signs. And so the report card for the center forward position is going to be a concern and a B-, but not because of the players, but because of the system. So maybe that grade should go on Greg, because without Greg fucking up the center forwards, I'd say we're at a good B, right? A good solid B. We're not got any A guys playing center forward yet. But Balogun should be a B. Pepe should provide you a B kind of play. None of them are going to, be world class, but they should be solid. Sargent should be able to provide you a B. But, yeah, Berhalter's going to figure out a way to fuck up that whole center forward thing. That goes actually for the whole team. So we should just give Greg his own grade, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Julian Green, Fumar, hasn't really played a whole lot of winger lately. For Fourth or Firth, he can play winger, but he usually plays as a central midfielder. Hoppy might as well be a Mars. That's how far he's fallen off. And again,
I guess then moving forward though, Derek, if you had a pick between Hoppy and Aronson as a wing adept, who would you pick?
I would pick Hoppy, but that's not fair, because it's Disneyland shit, right? It's Disneyland shit. We can't do this show doing Disneyland picks. There is no evidence that Hoppy would ever be even considered at this point. There is certainly tons of evidence that he will not consider Green at any point for any position.
He's had 2 solid years at Firth that he could have been called in.
Yep.
And what did he have? He had one feigning, hey, do you want to play in the Gold Cup? And Green's going, I should probably be back in my club for preseason.
Yeah.
And it hasn't been sniffed since. So
yeah, that's been a while ago. So yeah, I mean, we're trying to provide names that are realistic, right? Why is Taylor Booth realistic? Because he just recently played. He's just been seen by the staff.
Recent
by
depth,
Greg.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas Green, he's not even getting sniffs anymore. And Hoppy is in a black hole right now.
Well, and it's the same reason why we mentioned during the Yanks Abroad section that Zach is actually projecting having a better season right now.
Right now.
But when we talk about the depth position, we're not talking about Zach.
Mm-hmm.
Because he hasn't had a good look. And this is the thing. A lot of people were talking about as far as, we should take a look at this person. We should take a look at this person. Well, we have like 2 solid windows leading into Copa.
Right.
Greg's not going to do a lot of experimenting.
No,
he's going to be working to make sure that he solidifies what he has and who he has. And there may be a player or 2 that might make a random appearance, like how Paxton was in the last window for the United States national team. But he didn't play, but he was in the window.
And Greg said that much. He said as much. They're not going to be fiddle fucking around.
Yeah.
From here on out.
At this point, they're getting ready for Nations League and they're getting ready for Copa, and that's it. And it's not going to be, pussyfooting around with questionable players.
Right. Center midfielder is one of the more solid positions for us. We got central midfielders. You got, of course, McKennie and Musa.
Yep.
Adams should be back by Copa, but if you're grading this year, can't really talk about Adams because he's been injured for most of it.
Depends on when he returns, and at that point, where he's at in his return.
Right,
that's gonna be the big thing. Because we've got the depth of as far as the replacements. I feel. I mean,
Johnny Soccer
Adams would be nice. We have Johnny Soccer. We have Maloney.
Yeah.
I think that quote unquote the 6 role, although we'll probably play that double pivot still.
I think so.
With our 2, McKinney and Musa.
Right.
And then obviously Reyna in front. Or who knows? If Reyna's not really getting all that much playing time. I mean, I could see Tillman getting the start over him with how well he's playing.
Maybe. But I do feel comfortable at least to know that Reyna has a viable backup.
Sure,
and that's
100%, yeah.
But Greg played him out as a pinched-in winger last time he got to play for us, a position he doesn't really often play, Tillman. So, but I feel comfortable with the CAMs. I feel comfortable with the central midfield crew. I like Johnny Cardoso's going to Spain. We'll see how he fares there. You got Luca De La Torre, who has had some bad games recently, but looks totally fine with Celta Vigo. He's not the reason they're losing, that's for sure, and has been a regular starter for most of the season up until the recent injury. So I would give the midfield a B+. I'm feeling pretty comfortable with the midfield.
Sure.
I think there's nice depth there, especially if you're only playing 2 holding mids, the double pivot and an attacking mid. I feel good about all 3 of those positions.
I mean, you're talking about an AC Milan starter, you're talking about a Juve starter, and then depending, it could be a PSV starter or a Dortmund bench, although could be argued to be a starter.
It doesn't sound like he's going to PSV based on the words we just listened from Ernie. Yeah, Ernie Stewart said they're not signing it, so I don't think he's going to PSV.
Who mentioned that?
I don't know. I heard rumors that some people thought Reyna's going to PSV.
I think some people are just throwing names out, like, he should just go there because he'll be guaranteed playing time.
Yeah, well, I think what they were thinking, well, look, he's taking on all these other Americans. Why not take in one more? Well, then he takes Malik's job. I don't think Malik Tillman's going to be real happy to have Reyna on his team. So, yeah, Reyna will go somewhere else. We don't know where it's going to be, but it looks like he's going to go somewhere else. Nevertheless, I'm comfortable with the midfield. Now, guys start dropping like flies and you're starting Maloney and Tessman. Yeah, we're in trouble. But as long as it's the double M's and Musa McKinney, and you're backed up by Cardoso, and in a big emergency, you got Maloney, then you should be fine. For now. Center backs. A little weakness there, don't you think?
Sure. I mean, no weaker than it was last cycle, but yes.
It doesn't look like Zimmerman's coming back, which is fine by me. I never wanted him to be there in the first place.
Well, I mean, yeah, he had definitely of late he had that late nagging injury, so it definitely wasn't going to be included in the last window or anything like that. But he hasn't been called up since. Greg hasn't called him up at all. So
yeah, nor has he really been mentioned much. But you got Ream, who is old. That's a concern. Richards, who doesn't get much time. That's a concern. CCV.
So he is getting playing time at the 6 role.
Yeah,
so
just not
he's getting match fit.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing too, because I'm comfortable with him being there, but he's not match fit. So that's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, he will be match fit if he comes, because he's going to be starting every game for Crystal Palace at that holding midfield spot. The only problem is he's playing holding midfield, which I'm not complaining about. I'm glad that Richard's playing, but it's not playing center back. I mean, he almost plays like a third center back.
I was going to say,
yeah.
it's not a huge difference with how he was going to play it anyways. I mean, he's going to be playing more of a move forward and distribute out the type of more or less John Brooks distribution aspect of it, or the Tim Ream aspect of it.
So when I was at Fort Knox, we played what was called a reverse sweeper, which is, I've never heard the term used after that in my life. Our coach made this position up, but we played a 3-1-3-3, and Towns Brownlee hung out in front of. He wasn't a center back. He was like a destroyer in front of the back three.
We called that a stopper.
Yeah, we called it a reverse sweeper. I've never heard it called that again in my life. So that's not a normal term for it, obviously. But I didn't know that when I was 18, 16 years old. And that's kind of the role he plays at Crystal Palace. He just sits way deep. He doesn't get involved in any of the offense for the most part.
Yeah.
He is so deep, he might as well be another center back. So I guess, in a sense, that's good news. He's getting playing time. It is kind of as a stopper role, right? Destroyer. So maybe he won't feel that out of place playing center back. CCV is starting to lose games, and he's coming off an injury. So that's a little concerning. And after that, it's just a whole rush of names. Like, who's going to make it? Because Brooks ain't going to be on this team, even though he obviously qualifies through most of his play this season. But he's not going to be picked up. So that leaves you McKenzie and Trusty.
Yep.
So now it's a crapshoot, right?
Hey, Long will be at Cincy next to Miazga, so you'll get to see that pairing. Maybe that pairing will be included.
Long?
No, not Long. Sorry, Miles.
Yeah. Well, if Miles Robinson goes to Cincy, he's fucking himself. He's taken himself out of the picture. I mean, not for Greg, probably not for a while.
I think he's gonna have a pretty long leash, anyways, with Greg, until somebody else, really steps up.
Currently, I would give our center back situation a C. What would you give it?
Yeah, I mean that puts it at average. I mean you're talking about two solid options in Richards and Ream, even though Ream has his age issues. But once you start branching off into our back, I mean, do we feel overly confident with McKenzie? Trusty's had like a couple games with us so far. I mean, I know he's playing in EPL, so there's the positive there. But
yeah, and they've been playing all kinds of freaky positions. They played him at back. They played him at center back. They played him as a pair of three center backs. So he's getting a lot of experience.
Maybe C-.
Yeah, it could be that bad. Right now, it seems like one of our weaker spots. Left back, if you're only going by Jedi, it'd be like
doesn't matter. That's the only person that's going to play that role.
Not if he gets injured.
Fair enough.
So you
can say that. You can say that about anybody, though. Yeah.
Well, no, this also has to consider depth, right? Yeah. So if it were just Jedi, I'd give it an A. But since it's murky waters after that, I just think, okay, well, that drops it to a B for me.
I'll say the few games that I've seen Lund play, I've been pretty impressed in the sense that I feel confident that if Jedi needs a breather one game or an early sub in the second half, or if he's injured, that it's not it's definitely a decline. And I think going from an A to a B, I think is a suitable description in this situation.
Yeah.
I feel confident enough with Lund as a backup, but when you branch out past Lund at that point, then it's sketchy as fuck all.
So how I see it kind of is like you got Jedi's an A, and Lund, because of his lack of experience, his age, and where he plays, is a C. And a C is a good average, standard left back, but you put the two grades together and average them out, it comes out as a B. Mm-hmm. So am I totally freaked out about the left back situation? No, not as much as the center backs, because Jedi has shown a great tendency, even with the hernia, to stay healthy enough to play for us outside of one window. So been pretty good. I'm totally comfortable with right back, Dest, and Scally.
Yep.
And then you'll have arguments for others, but outside of those two, there's really not a need to go any deeper.
Barring an injury, yeah.
So I would give that a B+.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean,
because you're mixing an A and a B together, B+.
Yeah. I mean, we're talking about two different types of right backs.
Right. Dest is playing like an A right now. Scally,
at left back. Oddly enough.
Yeah. So that's good news for us. I guess if there is an emergency, we've talked about it 1,000 times, flop him over to the left side. But he's never really looked great for us as a left back. Just PSV right now. And then a really concerning picture, our position, goalkeeper. That's got to be a C. It's C, solid, scary C, maybe even a C-. You got Matt Turner, who is at an all-time low now, confidence-wise.
So, and that's the thing, though. I'm going to the match. I'm at this point. I'm still confident in Turner, but going with where his confidence is, and how well he's performing, and then given the drop off immediately, I'm willing to say C- D+ range as far as overall confidence.
I'm with you. Yeah,
this is the sketchiest I've ever seen our goalkeeping be. And Tack keeps talking about the MLS options as goalkeeper, and we might be back to that point.
Yeah,
we really might be.
Haven't been there since Tony Miola, right?
Yeah.
Since then, it's been Keller, Friedel,
the Hamid and Johnson era, which lasted a couple years.
Howard. Well, I guess
as the viable backups at that point.
Yeah,
there's always Howard until.
I never really worried about those guys because Howard was never injured.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But at least I knew I could turn on my TV every weekend and see Howard playing for Everton. And I knew he was playing in the best league in the world and having to perform against the best players in the world. Now I'm watching Matt Turner have some really bad games for Nottingham Forest. Yeah. Two bad games so far. And that's out of how many has he played? 10?
Oh, geez, even more than I thought. Yeah, maybe it's about 10, sure.
Could be around 9.
We're in December, of course. Yeah, of course it's gonna be around that range.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not good. It's the first time in my lifetime for a long time that I actually have to think about the goalkeeper situation. Never worried about it. I knew if Keller went down, we got Friedel. Friedel went down, we had Keller. We always had somebody.
No, we have nobody if Turner goes down. And even Turner, obviously people are shitting their drawers at this point.
And if the shit totally hit the fan, you still had Hanneman, who was playing in England too. Poor Hanneman never got to play really for us because he always had two stellar dudes right in front of him. So yeah, scary situation. And then there's Greg. And Greg right now, his performance for me since he's come back. And then I guess you have to count. Well, let's see. can't really count anything except for when he's come back this year.
Yeah.
Right? And so I'd give that a C- to a D. Rosters have been good. Style of play, bad.
Yeah, so there's definitely improvement with rosters and even lineup. But yeah, man, when it comes to the game management, changing of tactics, our loss against Trinidad and Tobago,
The abandoning he hasn't abandoned his system. He hasn't freed up the players and unlocked their creativity.
He's got a BJ skin suit playing the 10, but still playing Berhalter ball.
Yeah, it's not good.
So,
it's not been impressive in any way. And if he were a student in my class, I would have to give him a C- or a D and say, you got a lot of work to do, buddy. Got a lot of work. Got a lot of assignments to catch up on because you don't know your shit.
Yeah.
At least when we ask you to perform on the test, you don't look like you really know what you're doing. And you're getting bad grades because of that. So, all right. Is that too harsh? I don't think so.
He's all ideas, but it's there's no follow through. I mean, on paper, the game plan itself may not be a bad option if you're a club and you can practice at it and actually perfect it. But at the national team level, there's just no perfecting it.
Right.
So, the fact that he can't change in the middle of a game when it's not working, I mean, we saw that Trinidad at home. The game plan wasn't working. We had 80% of the possession, sure, but we had very few opportunities on goal before the 80th minute. We had a couple.
Yep.
Sure, the game could have been completely different, yes, but it's just like you still lack that final bite in the final third.
Yeah, you go in to Trinidad 3-0 on aggregate, and it gets sketchy because they're starting to score goals. And even a 10-man U.S. men's national team should look better than that.
We looked like we weren't there.
Yeah.
Because even with Trinidad attacking, and they were attacking more, that should have played into our hands.
Yeah.
That would have opened up the pitch. We would have had more room to roam, less men sitting in the box where we had to spend 80 minutes to figure out we need to start shooting from outside the box. It should have played in our hand, and it didn't. Trinidad got us on our heels, and then the red card came, and then we were really on our heels.
So grade for the year overall for me is a C, and it should be better than that, but it's not. And that's
of course, people are going to hold up the wins to the losses so far. We have some high-scoring wins. We smashed teams.
We smashed Ghana.
Uzbekistan and Oman. Don't forget those teams. We smashed them, Derek.
Amazing. All right. Well, that's going to do the show for today because I've got to go to the bathroom. Quite seriously. And that is actually naturally where the show would end. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Thanks to everybody that showed up tonight. We'll be back Thursday with, I don't know. We'll come up with something to talk about. We always do. And we wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you for being here and supporting the show. Until the next time on the Straight Red Card, please say hi to your stepsister for us. Good night.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine.
That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm
the articulate and intelligent.
Greg's a bitch. That's all.
I find them